welcome to tonight's game against the Brampton Steelheads. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we'd like you to draw your attention to the video board for a special presentation. Wolf Nation, please welcome owner and CEO Dario Zulich with Chase's parents, Nicole and Jason, along with his billet parents, Tamara and Frank. Chase began his OHL career in 2021, joining the Wolfpack during the 2022-23 season. He has played over 200 games with the Sudbury Wolves and has accumulated over 300 penalty minutes and racked up 115 points. Chase has been a crucial member of the pack both on and off the ice as an alternate captain, taking on community initiatives and school visits. We want to thank you, Chase. Once again, Wolves Nation, make some noise for Chase Coughlin. At this time, we'd now like to direct your attention once again to our video board.
Back to the line, long shot, big score. That was 10-10 for us. It might have been Gavin Ewell.
Please join us in welcoming to center ice Gavin's parents, Paula and Chris, along with his billet parents, Stacy and Andrew. Gavin began his OHL career in 2021, joining the Wolfpack during the 2024-25 season. He has played over 100 games with the Sudbury Wolves and has been a strong defense for the team. Gavin has been an exceptional member of the pack, both on and off the ice, taking on community initiatives as well as school visits. And once again, we want to thank you, Gavin. We have presented Chase and Gavin with specialty photos commemorating their time with the Wolves. From the Sudbury Wolves organization and all Wolves fans, we thank you for the profound impact you both had on our team and our city. And so one more time, for your former Wolves, please give a round of applause for Chase Coughlin and Kevin Hools. And remember, once a Wolf, always a Wolf. Tonight's game is proudly sponsored by the YMCA. So joining us tonight is YMCA camper Ethan Yu, director for the YMCA Board of Directors, Northeastern Ontario, G-Rant, and Sean Asco from Desjardins Ontario Credit Union. We'd like to ask Sudbury Wolves alternate captain, Chase Coughlin, and Steelheads captain number 77, Hatton, to join them at center ice for ceremonial puck drop. Put your hands together for the YMCA. Thank you, Ethan, G-Rand, and Sean. Wolves Nation, we now ask that you please stand if you're able and remove your hats for the singing of the Canadian National Anthem performed by the Young Sudbury Singers.
Inside the Sudbury Community Arena. I'm Brian Cooper alongside my good pal Rick Wyman as we are set for the final regular season home game already. First of all, I say, where in the world does time go? Second of all, I say, what an insane week for Sudbury, and it's kind of fitting that we can wrap up the week with some Wolves action as we're all set for the postseason. Tonight's game, and then the Wolves finish off the season on the road on Sunday in North Bay. But Rick Wyman, should be a fun one tonight.
Should be, and of course, nothing at stake as far as the Wolves and Brampton are concerned. Maybe just pride, but as we've stressed before, what better place than right here, right now, in terms of getting the Wolves to start thinking about their first round opponents from Brentford. That series will start next week. And of course, we already know that the Wolves will be back on home ice coming up a week from Tuesday and a week from Thursday.
Yepers.
Now the Wolves will also have another game to play on Sunday against North Bay, but you've got to start thinking playoff mode right now. What kind of identity do you want to be come playoff time? What is your identity? Are you going to be crash and bang, or are you going to play it cautious defensively, or are you going to go all out offensively? How are you going to protect your goaltender? Because Frasca's going to be your difference, and he might as well get himself in gear over the course of the next 2 games and get ready for the playoffs next week.
All right, tonight it's Bjorn Bronis getting the start for the Wolves. On the other end, Zach Bowen, Brampton Steelheads, the visiting club, against the Wolves. Opening draw won by Sudbury. Overage forward who was honored before this one, Chase Coughlin, winning the face-off. Wolves have the puck inside the Brampton zone on the forecheck, and an early big hit thrown on Rowan Henderson. He's okay, as the Steelheads will skate the puck into the Sudbury zone. These two teams have now played each other quite a bit in the last couple of months. Steelheads inside the Wolves' end. Shot comes and they score. First shot of the period, and it's going to be Zach Nyman, 30 seconds in. And it's a 1-0 hockey game in favor of the Steelheads.
Okay, so in case you didn't get what I was saying.
What was that again?
Okay, we got to start thinking about the playoffs here for the Sudbury Wolves. And again, typical situation, and you know Brantford's going to get the videotape of tonight's game and Sunday's game as well. Got to be hard on the puck, especially on your own end. You can't be soft, you can't be loose, you can't give it up. And of course, quick turnover, it's a 1-0 Brampton lead.
Puck with a weird bounce out in front. Nyman wiring a wrister, glove side down low past Bjorn Bronis. First shot of the game, 1-0 Brampton. Steelheads have the puck in their own end. Aggleton moving it around. The goal scorer, Nyman, just his 3rd of the season, by the way. Going to be the goal scorer. Up to Aggleton. Aggleton inside the Sudbury zone. Pass out in front, and that one's going to be stolen by Henderson. Wolves coming back the other way, led by Lemieux. Nemitz, pass out in front. Wolves with a shot, and it's a save. Now we got to scrap it. Center ice, Ula. And it's going to be Patton, it looks like, for the Steelheads. Lefts being thrown from either player. A right now from Ula. Patton a right as well. A right from Ula. Center ice against Ula, trying to get a spark for his club. And then Ula going down in a heap after Troy Patton throws Ula down. And now they'll get separated as Patton singles to his bench to keep this going. And then Ula looking at the crowd as well. So I think very timely spark. And I feel like that may have been instigated by Ula, not liking the start to his club.
Well, you know, Brampton lost last night by a score of 7-0 in North Bay, so they don't want to leave the North winless. So you want to fight, get into it, and again, both guys are going to go off. But it also negated a possible scoring opportunity for the Wolves, made it close around the net, and after the referees were focused with that bout at center ice. So again, face-off will be deep in the Brampton zone.
Ula, 6'1", 205 pounds.
Yeah.
And as for Patton, 5'10", 178. So he didn't look like he was 5'10" in that scrap, that's for sure.
Bit of a discrepancy. So the face-off coming up to the left. Starting goaltender for tonight,
Zach Bowen for the Brampton Steelheads.
Not to be confused with David Bowen.
Yeah, I can confirm it's not David Bowen.
No, it's not.
Face off coming, and it's won by Brampton. Brampton will send it around their own net. Again, if you're just joining the broadcast this evening, an early 1-0 lead for the Steelheads. Shot at the blue line for Sudbury. No traffic in front. Easy save for the goaltender, Bowen.
And you know, sometimes, Coop, we've seen in the last little while, the Wolves have been going through spurts of just being lax out there. Have to start showing some tenacity, some wherewithal as to what do you want to do, and that's why I bring up the whole aspect about identity. What kind of team do you want to be? What do you want to do? What are you right now? And the thing is, playoff time can go very quick unless you actually start playing and doing what you have to do to prove your worth as a team.
Well, face off inside the Brampton zone. Steelheads win it. They're going to ice the puck. And yes, it will be an icing call made. 89 Jack Yates going to argue his case, but the faceoff's going to come all the way back inside the Brampton zone.
And if you think Brampton's going to be tough tonight, what about North Bay on Sunday? That's going to be a game that they have to win regardless of what happens with Peterborough, because after all, North Bay trying to get home ice advantage in their series against the Petes.
Face-off inside the Brampton zone again. A minute 15 gone in this opening frame. Face-off won by Sudbury. Chitteroni on the outside. A shot that's deflected. Rebound picked up by Barahowski behind the Brampton net. Chitteroni gets hit by Cartwright. Now he's sandwiched in between a couple different Brampton skaters. Wolves still have it. Good pressure mounting here from Sudbury. Provorov firing it back around the Brampton net. Wolves are on it. Verahowski leading the forechecking charge, putting it right around the Brampton net again. And look out, big high hit thrown by Provorov, and he's going to go off to the penalty box for that one. Right in front of the referee, as a couple skaters want a piece of Provorov. The player that was hit was Owen Cartwright, and it will be we don't typically see a hit thrown like that from Provorov, but off to the penalty box he goes.
Yeah, here's a situation for the Steelheads power play to up the ante here early in the game in front of a good crowd. Of course, playoff tickets, everyone's got to buy one. This is the last night to redeem tickets that haven't been used over the course of the season. And fans have responded. Good crowd here at the Sudbury Community Arena.
Face off inside the Sudbury zone. Wolves on a penalty kill. Their PK has been great all season. They're ranked 8th in the Ontario Hockey League. Power play for the Steelheads. Wolves fans can maybe breathe a sigh of relief. It has not been great. 18th overall in the OHL. They're set up, though, right away on the power play. Nyman firing a shot on net. Stick save made by Bjorn Bronis. Brampton Steelheads still have it at the blue line. Gee handing it off to D'Amiglio. Shot comes. Good block for the veteran defenseman Gavin Yules, who was also honored ahead of this game tonight as one of the overage skaters for Sudbury, playing in his final regular season home game of his OHL career. Steelheads just inside. Shot comes. Good glove save made by Bronis. You know what? I was just talking about the Brampton power play, which has struggled throughout the entire season. It's looking pretty good right now.
Good puck movement. I mean, hey, they did beat the Wolves in that school day game on Tuesday by a score of 5-3. And they got shellacked last night, so they've got something to prove.
Face-off won by the Steelheads. Nyman at the blue line. Cross-ice feed, it comes. Another shot, another block for Gavin Yules. He's done that 3 times now in the last couple of minutes. And along the boards it comes, set up by Brampton at the blue line. Shot coming. That one is blocked by Chitteroni that time, and the puck will squeak past the blue line as the Steelheads will have to reverse all the way back into their own zone. Almost 3 minutes gone in the first period. Wolves down by 1. Steelheads taking it across center ice, still on the power play for another minute, if not less. They'll fire it around the Sudbury net and then get set up on the power play at the blue line. There it is. Wolves with a steal, though, shorthanded. Chase Coghlan across center, gets a weak shot purposely wide, goes off for a line change, and that'll also milk some time off of this Brampton power play, which now only has 40 seconds to go. Steelheads taking across center, flying into the Sudbury zone. Stankoven will give it away, so picked up by speedy Rowan Henderson. Blasting his way through, short-handed! Shot, toe save made by the goaltender Bowen. Close call for Rowan Henderson, nearly a shorty. He gets the puck right back, though, and wisely going all the way back to his defenseman inside the Sudbury zone, Odell.
He split that defense pretty easily.
There was no chance for the Brampton skater at all. Wolves another chance to clear, and they do this time. Another steal this time for Ethan Dean of Sudbury. Power play is just about done. 5 seconds left until Provorov comes out of the box. And he is, in fact, out of the penalty box. Back to even strength we go. Still 1-0, though, in favor of Brampton. Nemitz getting hit pretty hard in front of the penalty box doors. Dean takes the puck into the Brampton zone. Wolves are on it, not for long. Brampton firing it right back into Wolves territory. Artem Gonchar coming into this game, ranked number 8 among defensemen in the Ontario Hockey League, to center ice. Lemieux hit from behind. Play will continue. Wolves chipping the puck into the Brampton zone. Icing not called. Play will continue in around the Steelheads net. Nemitz throwing a hit. J.C. Lemieux with a steal. He's taken down, and now the Wolves are going to go on the power play. Penalty's going to be called against the Brampton Steelheads. Gonchar, though, taking the puck. Backhand saucer pass to Gavin Yules. Extra attackers out there right now for Sudbury. Chitteroni at the blue line to Yules. Yules can't shoot. He'll move forward, now drops it back at the blue line for Hovan. Yules back to Gonchar at the blue line. Artem Gonchar looks like a power play now for Sudbury with the extra attacker out. Shot comes, and it's blocked. And it will be a Brampton skater going off to the box.
No need for that. They're going to call a hooking penalty. And again, that play was so innocent. You've got to do a better job of containing your man. You don't have to resort to hooking, tripping, slashing, what have you. But not a great penalty for Brampton, and the Wolves will take it. Some extra overtime in the penalty situation. Now they get the full 2 minutes, which is a good sign for the Wolves. They can tie things up.
First power play of the night for Sudbury. Lemieux, a shot right off the face-off that goes wide. Wolves are set up inside the Brampton zone, though. Cross-ice pass for Lemieux. Another drop pass in front. Wolves are on it. One too many passes, but they still have possession inside the Brampton zone. Across the blue line to Lemieux. Lemieux, another pass back to the blue line, and Gonchar is going to have to hustle. No, he cannot keep the zone. They'll pull it back to center ice. Lemieux. JC going for a skate across center. Handing it off to Jan Hovat. Hovat. LA Kings prospect. Tabarahowski will get nailed, but takes a hit to make the play. Hovan back to the blue line, picked up by Nemitz. Nemitz dropping for Hovan as the power play gets set up. Gonchar will step into the side. Shot comes, and a good save made by the goaltender Bowen. One-timer from the side, and the goaltender came across, read that beautifully.
Yeah, made a nice movement going right to left and dropped to his knees and smothered up on that puck. No rebound, so we'll have a face-off to his left after just over 5.5 minutes, and 1-0 deficit for the Wolves to the Brampton Steelheads. Friday night hockey here. First day of spring, by the way. Happy spring.
Doesn't look like spring.
No, it doesn't.
Classic Sudbury, right?
We got to give it some time here.
Oh, yeah. Face-off coming inside the Brampton zone. Secondary power play unit out there now for Sudbury. Steelheads win this one, and they are going to waste no time lobbing this one the full distance right down onto the Sudbury net where Bjorn Bronis was standing there waiting. 1-0 Brampton. Defenseman Hudson Martin carrying the puck inside the Brampton zone. Wolves are on it. Set up on the power play. Chedoroni back to the blue line to Martin. Over to Chedoroni. Shot out in front, looking for a deflection. Picked up, though, by Provorov just inside the blue line. Provorov, cross-ice feed for Chedoroni. Back to the blue line and a giveaway, allowing the Steelheads to get it to center ice. The penalty killers are going to change up for Brampton. 30 seconds left in this power play now for Sudbury. Wolves take it across center. Coughlin over to Chedoroni, back to the blue line. Hudson Martin. Wolves get a shot off. That one's blocked in front. Provorov picking up the loose puck again, though. In along the boards. 10 seconds left in this power play. And the Steelheads will escape their zone again.
Good job of killing off that penalty.
Good penalty kill, as the Wolves will be 0 for 1 on the power play. 3 shots on net for Sudbury, just the 2. Oh, 3 now, sorry, for Brampton. Puck to center ice, led by Sudbury. Here comes Dean with a shot. Nice blocker save made by the goaltender Bowen. Along the boards, Wolves will try to maintain possession. Dean's on the forecheck. However, the puck is taken over by the Steelheads. Yates for Brampton across center, deep inside the Sudbury zone. Not enough for icing. Finn Kearns all the way back there to play it. Around the boards, it'll go. Dean will watch that go by, and they're going to call this an icing call against Sudbury with 12:35 to go. It's again still 1-0 Brampton.
So we talk about the weather a lot, being my job and your job. My wife says, yeah, I need a smaller step ladder to do some early spring cleaning. And I'm going, okay, when do you need it? She says, well, as soon as possible. I go, is June okay? Last week with the storm, or this past week, I had nowhere to dump the snow in the backyard area, so essentially I obliterated the path that I had to the closest shed where that step ladder is located. I said, I've got to dig that out first before you could get it. I said, you might get it in May or June. How's that? She says, you can't be serious. I said, have a look, hon. Have a look.
Oh, I'm serious, yeah. It's just been, honestly, like nothing I've ever experienced before. I've experienced being snowed in once. It was a few years back. I was in Muskoka, where my mom lives.
Yes, and you told me about this when it actually happened.
Yeah, and so the difference was that was not where I was living. Now it's my own home, not being able to leave my own house. It was just a crazy Monday and Tuesday as the city continues to dig out. Huge shout out to the crews who continue to work on our roads, though.
And at last report, my wife's friend still stuck as of yesterday.
Unbelievable. Well, face-off inside the Sudbury Arena with 12.5 to go inside the Sudbury zone. Brampton wins it. Nyman just inside the blue line, hands it off. Wrister comes, pad save made by Bronis. And then the Wolves will fire it all the way into the Brampton zone. Not enough for icing this time. Wolves will get their full line change, though, as Ula and Patton are now out of the penalty boxes after their scrap. Pretty good spirited affair as well. Wolves with a high stick that made contact, but play will resume. Back inside the Sudbury zone. Brampton picking it up just inside the blue line. Nemitz, though, for Sudbury, picking it off in the slot, firing a cross-ice pass to Lemieux, and J.C. Lemieux will go for a skate in around the Sudbury net. Watched carefully by William Eggleton. Ewell's veteran defenseman for Sudbury. Waits, takes his time, now firing a pass to center. Cross-ice feed from Lemieux to Hovan. Jan Hovan hit from behind by Guy. No call on that play, just a good check. Around the Brampton net, the puck will go with 11.5 to go in this first period. Again, 1-0 Steelheads, in case you're wondering. It was the first shot of the game, 30 seconds into the first period. Center ice, the puck goes again. Steelheads are on it. Brampton will fire it into the Sudbury zone. Goaltender Bronis out to play it. Handing it off to Ewells, who fires it around the Sudbury net to Gonchar. Gonchar just hands the pass right back to Ewells. Wolves will deflect it into the Brampton zone. Blake Clayton on the forecheck for Sudbury, as is Rowan Henderson. Coughlin a pass out in front. Shot coming for Clayton, and the goaltender Bowen had to be careful. Puck was bobbling around like a ping pong ball, and somehow he got his trapper on it.
Well, the defense being somewhat loose with that puck bouncing around in front of Bowen. So again, he wisely put the glove on it and said, okay, guys, enough is enough. We're almost near the halfway mark of the opening period. Brampton moving right to left on whatever you're listening to tonight's game on, and the Wolves going left to right, but the face-off to the left of Bowen deep in the Brampton zone.
That draw won by Sudbury. They've got momentum right now. Shot from the outside by Dean. It goes wide. Wolves still have the loose puck, but now Brampton will muscle it out to center ice against Ula. All the way back for Sudbury along the boards. Put it on the wrong jersey-colored stick. So the Steelheads will regain possession. Demiglio, who picked up an assist on that opening goal, by the way, as did Witkowski. Over to the goal scorer, Nyman, just his third of the season. Brampton back inside the Sudbury zone as they establish themselves. They'll just simply place the puck around the Sudbury net and then pick it up at the blue line. Shot coming, glove save made by Bronis. No traffic in front. As now we get some pushing and shoving on the outside between, looks like Clayton and Eggleton. And a bit of a crowd forms. And again, as Rick pointed out, these two teams just played each other recently, so they know each other very well.
And of course, a rival for the Sudbury Wolves over the course of this season and even last year again. So a lot of these guys have played against each other, minor hockey, junior hockey, rep level hockey, high level hockey. So again, this is the last chance they can get any licks in because Brampton's not going to the playoff round. They don't deserve to be there, but after all, they'll get a half-decent pick, a top 4 coming up in the OHL draft.
And as Rick pointed out, coming off that 7-0 loss just last night against the North Bay Battalion, so they're probably coming into this game with a little chip on their shoulder as well.
Well, I'm sure maybe James Richmond threatened to have the guys walk from North Bay to Sudbury after that game.
Or shovel some Sudbury driveways if they didn't play better. Well, they're having a pretty good first period here inside the Sudbury Community Arena, leading right now, scoring on their first shot of the game. Puck still inside the Sudbury zone. Now it's moved out. Well, it looked like it was going to be by Finn Kearns, who's in the lineup tonight for the Wolves. Up to Chitteroni. Chitteroni back to Kearns, who hands it off to his defensive line mate Martin. Martin, cross-ice pass to Provorov, who will then send it further into the Brampton zone. The goaltender Bowen putting it off the glass, and then just like that, Brampton puts it to center ice. Wolves back to center, eventually into the Brampton zone. Barahowski, he finds Chitteroni. Chitteroni backhand pass to Barahowski. 9:15 remaining in the first period. Here's an opportunity for Chitteroni. Shot comes off the goalpost. Chitteroni thought it was in. Referee said no. Close call in the slot all alone. Here's Gonchar on the outside, a shot high and way wide. Puck kept inside, though, by Chitteroni. And then the Steelheads are going to ice the puck. And a face-off will result back inside the Sudbury zone. Chitteroni came that close.
Coop, when the referee, and fans can't see this right now because it is a radio cast, and the referee points at the net. That is a goal. That indicates a goal. He did not do that. He waved it off because it hit the crossbar.
Hit the crossbar. Fans thought it was in. They just showed a replay on the Jumbotron. You can kind of hear the collective, ah.
I could see that from here with one good eye. The other eye is going to be fixed next week.
Hey, that's exciting.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that. Just in time for the playoffs, they should be okay.
Face-off inside the Brampton zone. Just under 9 minutes left in period number 1. 6 shots on net for Brampton, 5 for Sudbury. They win the draw, the Wolves do. Inside the Brampton zone. Artem Gonchar cycling it around, strong in the puck, firing a shot towards the net. It was deflected by Lemieux, but into the corner. Nemitz will be there to chase down the loose puck right after. Around the Brampton net, picked up by Jan Hovan. J.C. Lemieux, who's dumped in behind the Brampton net. Fans calling for a penalty, and Lemieux exchanges with a little cross-check of his own. Wolves firing a shot purposely wide. This one already getting a little bit feisty between these two clubs tonight. Wolves maintaining possession inside the Brampton zone. Hovan at the blue line. Quick up to Lemieux. Toe drag. Stick lifted last second. And then the Steelheads had a chance to clear, but it's kept in by Nemitz of Sudbury. Nemitz to Lemieux. This line really clicking again for Sudbury tonight. Nemitz, Hovan, Lemieux. They're keeping the good forechecking pressure alive and well inside the Brampton zone. Puck is hemmed in along the boards, though. Brampton skater is just pinning it there, and finally Lemieux has had enough, so he's just throwing his body around. And then he takes a cross-check from Guy, and then Hovan throwing a cross-check on Guy, and now Yules is going to step in. And I feel like that's one of those situations when the puck is stuck along the boards, you're going to get situations like that. As a referee, at what point, because you have been a referee for a long time, at what point do you blow the whistle? Like, where do you draw the line?
At this level, you want them to play the puck to keep the game going because too many stoppages aren't good for the fans. But in that situation, that went on too long, so Guy decides to cross-check. And again, we always thought that cross-checking was a penalty, or it should be, but in this case, it could be done liberally. And again, Guy takes the liberty of cross-checking someone, so he gets the penalty. But sometimes the referees have either got to blow it down, which they don't want to do. In minor hockey, you do that. In this case, they simply let it go, and then they saw the infraction.
So the stick came up high from Guy, and that's why he's off into the penalty box. Wolves on a power play set up inside the Brampton zone, trying to tie it up. Shot in front and in the back of the net. And guess who? In his final regular season home game of his OHL career, Chase Coughlin, Johnny on the spot, right in his home terrain, and he ties the game up.
Is there any other better position around the crease where Coughlin could have been? He just put his stick down on the ice and deflected it past Bowen. But again, nice setup. That pass, not too hard, not too high, just enough, and Coughlin made contact. Nice goal. And again, on the power play, Guy in the box for, again, taking that initiative and cross-checking. Didn't work out. It's a 1-1 game.
Wolves tie things up. Coughlin's 18th of the regular season. Chitteroni and Martin are going to pick up the assists on that one. Tied up at 1 with 7.5 to go in period number 1. Brampton back the other way, though, as bodies are flying everywhere in front of the Sudbury net. Puck gets back to center ice as the pace quickens a little bit at the second half of this first period. Brampton look out, puck fired into the stands, and it's caught by someone as the Wolves bench looking back with some concern because that puck came out and over in a hurry.
Don't forget the Wolves are in North Bay on Sunday. We'll have that game beginning at 2 o'clock from the Memorial Gardens, Bort Longyear Memorial Gardens Arena, as the Wolves end up the regular season prior to their playoff matchup with Brantford.
Face-off won by Sudbury. Gavin Yules will break it out of the Sudbury zone, getting the puck into the Brampton zone. Icing is waved off. Henderson using his speed to outskate the Brampton defenseman. Wolves still have the puck inside the Brampton zone. Now a pass out in front. Barahowski was waiting. Good play defensively by the Steelheads. Wolves are on it. Yules inside across the blue line. Shot by Gonchar. Glove save made by the goaltender Bowen. And some more feisty play between these two clubs, as I feel like we'll see only escalate throughout the night.
This is going to be a long night. It's already started. It started earlier, and like I said, last chance to get it in on that guy that you don't like. You've got that number. You want to do something. And again, we'll see, I'm sure, a lot of rough stuff going on, some stick work, and perhaps a bout or two before this night is over.
Face off inside the Brampton zone. 1-1, 6:41 to go in period number 1. Jan Hovan to take the draw with Lemieux and Nemitz by his side. Face off will be won by the Steelheads. Around the Brampton net they go. Up to Witkowski. Witkowski will lob it to center. Brampton will skate it inside the Sudbury zone. A little drop pass into the slot was read beautifully by Hudson Martin. Then he'll receive a hit along the boards, but does a great job of it to make the play and get the puck to center ice for Sudbury. However, the Wolves don't get too far into the Brampton zone. Puck comes right back, and then J.C. Lemieux throwing a hit on Arda. And we got a whistle on the play. I don't think Lemieux's going to get a penalty for that one, but definitely some extra hacks and whacks. I think offside is the official call.
Coming up on Sunday here at the Sudbury Community Arena, big game for the Sudbury Five in the Basketball Super League. Five lost last night in Kitchener-Waterloo. The rematch right now for the second place Five and the first place Kitchener-Waterloo Titans. 2 o'clock here at the arena. Busy weekend.
Busy. Face off inside the Sudbury zone with exactly 6 minutes remaining in period number 1. Wolves have it, led by Ula. Ula's shot comes. Picking up the rebound, a shot that goes off of the pad of goaltender Bowen. And then on the outside of the net, Wolves are back inside the Brampton zone at the blue line. Odell, wrister coming, pad save, rebound picked up by Provorov, who appears to take a high stick, and that goes unnoticed by the referee. Puck back inside the Sudbury zone against Ula, who's been all over the ice so far tonight for Sudbury, including dropping the mitts once. Up to goal scorer Chase Coughlin. Coughlin on the outside. He's going to get crunched in behind the Brampton net, and Coughlin did not like that.
And there's the cross check again in retaliation, so he got hit.
He got hit hard.
Very hard, and again, he didn't like that whatsoever.
I think it was Sam Black, the one who threw the thunder in behind the Brampton net. Coughlin with a little retaliatory cross check, and no penalties off of that skirmish, by the way.
Congratulations, by the way, Coop, in case you didn't know, works for Pure Country 91.7. Camping for Cans. A resounding really success yesterday at the new Sudbury Center. Way to go.
It's the community, man. The Sudbury community is unbelievable. It's after a week like we've come out of to see, and you know, we've seen it time and time again, you know, fundraising initiatives, campaigns, that kind of stuff. And in this community, when you, and I know the Wolves do this as well, when you put the need out there, you put the messaging out, and you say, here's what we're trying to accomplish, can you help? Community, 100% of the time always comes up. They step up, and it's just a huge shout out to the community. So
no, and great job in quarterbacking it, Coop. I mean, you and Josh and Matt Brown and Caitlin, you know, worked very hard all this past week. I could see you guys doing it, putting it all together, and well done.
5:22 to go in period number 1.
Coop's so modest, by the way.
Just happy to do what I do. Happy to help.
Well, I'm glad you do, because you're a true representative in this community.
Wolves inside their own end. I also happen to love calling hockey games, too. It is an absolute treat, isn't it? J.C. Lemieux inside the Brampton zone, pulled the puck in front of the Brampton net. Honestly, Friday night hockey, Rick, it's such a joy to be here. Wolves have it. Shot coming from the blue line by Gonchar. Pad save made by Bowen. Another shot coming from Yules. That one's blocked. Picked up, though, by Gonchar. And then they give the puck away, the Wolves do, with 4.5 to go in period number 1. Stankoven chipping it deep inside the Sudbury zone. He's going to get absolutely run into by Gens Ula. Make that Artem Gonchar, actually. And boy, oh boy, he's right off to the Brampton bench. That was a big hit. Jan Hovan around the Brampton net. We're going to be seeing some thunderous hits like that all night long, I think. Wolves are on it. Back to the blue line. Picked up by Finn Kearns. Kearns was surrounded by Brampton skaters. 4 and a bit to go in period number 1. Barahowski inside the Brampton zone. He's going to get run over by Cartwright. And then Kearns is going to steal the puck at the blue line. Shot comes, stick save made by the goaltender Bowen. Wolves, good pressure inside the Brampton zone. As Clayton for Sudbury will take a big hit. Barahowski still finding the loose puck somehow. Over to Clayton. A lot of intense battles in along the boards for the puck, and the Wolves come out with it. Kearns, fumbling my words. I blame the snow. Up to Blake Clayton through the neutral zone. Hudson Martin, who picked up an assist on that first goal for Sudbury. Over to Barahowski. Barahowski inside the Brampton zone. Martin still with it. In along the boards. Rowan Henderson back to the blue line. His partner in crime, Blake Clayton, waiting for it. He'll fire it right back to Henderson. Around the Brampton net it goes. Barahowski passes out in front. No shot came. Clayton fanned on it. 3 minutes to go in the first period. Vilche for Brampton. Skating it into the Sudbury zone, and that's about as far as he gets. Brampton will get a secondary opportunity as they wire it to the side of the Sudbury net. Brampton building up some momentum now inside the Sudbury zone. Bodies flying around. A lot of extra hacks and whacks and cross checks and a little bit of everything. I think Rick might be right. Could be a more lengthy evening. We'll have to wait and see what happens.
If we're out of here by 10 tonight, we'll be lucky.
Gens Ula for Sudbury. Skating it out of the Sudbury zone. Handing it off to Barahowski. Shot comes. Nice save made by goaltender Zach Bowen with 2:27 to go. Tied up at ones.
Bit of a break in the action here for both teams right now. And again, surprisingly, it's still 1-0. Some good scoring opportunities, but not some great opportunities, if you know what I mean. Either goaltender, Baronis, Bowen, really haven't been severely tested. Just a lot of really routine material. So they're handling it well. That's why we got a 1-1 game. 11-6 shots on goal in favor of the Wolves. So nothing out of the ordinary.
Face off inside the Brampton zone. That draw won by the Steelheads. They'll wire it around their own net. And the guy who got into a scrap with the Sudbury skater Ula, Patton, will wire it into the Sudbury zone. However, it's picked up by Gonchar. Young forward Braden Bennett, who I feel like has been fairly consistent for Sudbury all season long. Tries to chip the puck out. Puck takes a weird bounce in front of the Sudbury net, and guess who? Braden Bennett picking up the loose puck again. I feel like he's going to be a treat to watch in the next couple of seasons as he grows a little bit, gets a little bit older, matures too. It's the beauty of this sport. Steelheads are on it though inside the Sudbury zone. Black, a shot purposely wide, takes a weird bounce. One stick goes flying. Steelheads, another shot from the outside. Blocker save made by Baronis. Big collision in front of the Sudbury net between Black and Dean. Brampton firing it right around the Sudbury net. 1.5 minutes to go in the first period. Dean will skate it up for Sudbury. Back the other direction. Wolves into the Brampton zone. Gonchar out in front. Shot comes. Rebound is there, and it's picked up by the goaltender Bowen. As now we got some pushing and shoving between Goyette. Yes, that's David Goyette's younger brother, Matthew Goyette, and Carter Kostic in front of the Brampton net. And then Chase Coughlin coming in to help out Carter Kostic, and referees will jump in right away.
Yeah, Bowen was lucky to get that glove on the puck so quickly. Again, forcing the stoppage in play. It remains 1-1, but some loose play in that Brampton zone. Now, I wonder if David Goyette, former Sudbury Wolves, says a couple of guys you may want to keep an eye on. Here's some notes, and maybe if you really get a chance, maybe an extra shot or something I couldn't do at the time. You know, a little bit of payback, a little bit of revenge, but great to see David's brother here playing tonight.
Face off, won by Brampton in their own ends, approaching the final minute of play in the first period. As Chase Coughlin throwing the reversed hit inside the Sudbury zone, and he got everything on Justin Bottineau. Wolves taking it right back the other direction inside the Brampton zone. Final minute officially. It's been a wild first period between Sudbury and Brampton. Kearns for Sudbury, quick up to Coughlin, who gets it to center ice. Provorov was standing there waiting for it. Brampton taking it right back into the Sudbury zone. Finn Kearns off the boards. Cross ice feed to Provorov. Vladimir Provorov to Coughlin. Toe drag move and went off the skate of Reed Guy as Guy and Coughlin continue to push and shove. And then Coughlin throwing a hit on Stankoven. 25 seconds to go in period number 1.
Coughlin's just looking for numbers out there.
He is just doing Coughlin type things. Soaking in this final regular season home game of his OHL career. Wolves back into the Brampton zone. Lemieux shot to the net, and look out, Nemitz ran into the goaltender Bowen, and now Nemitz is going to drop the mitts. My goodness, with Peter Green.
Well, Green shoved him in.
And we got more pushing and shoving. J.C. Lemieux is working on someone as well.
I mean, Green should get the penalty. After all, he pushed Nemitz into goaltender Bowen.
Adam Nemitz.
We didn't see that coming.
Did not have that on my bingo card tonight there, Rick. And then it looked like for a second J.C. Lemieux was going to go with someone as well. With 7.6 seconds remaining, Lemieux is going to go off to the box, as will Nyman. Wow.
Well, two guys you least expected to get involved.
Did not expect that from Adam Nemitz, and there was no delay either. Gloves were off and fists were flying. It lasted maybe 4 seconds, but still, my goodness. So as mentioned, J.C. Lemieux did pick up a penalty after that skirmish, as did Nyman. Boy, oh boy, things heating up a little bit at the Sudbury Community Arena.
And it's still early, at least in the game, almost at the end of the first, but we still have 2 20-minute periods to go. So
all that time of being snowed in earlier this week is gone to everybody.
Yeah, we'll be here for a while. We're not going anywhere. We'll be here for a while.
Boy,
So
oh boy.
big night of OHL action. We'll run down the scores. Of course, keying in on other teams trying to battle for a playoff position. A lot of people talking about the Sioux and London in the Western Conference for, you know, it's back and forth between 4th and 5th, and the Greyhounds were counting on trying to gain home ice advantage. They've slipped down to 5th. So that series, it's got to go 7. They're playing each other. It's got to go 7. 2 talented teams, and the Greyhounds did load up, but they struggled of late. Can they get back on track and get things going and advance to the second round against, you know, you're going to get a tough London team in that matchup. They've rebuilt well this season.
Yep. And maybe a little bit different, as they haven't been, you know, I feel like people are just used to London being number 1, right? Hasn't been the case. They've had their downward slides as well, but they're in the postseason.
And that's all that matters.
Yep.
Because if you can make top 4,
anything can happen.
Really.
So they're just finishing off sorting out the penalties with 7.8 to go. 1-1. Period number 1. Face-off just outside of the Brampton zone. Puck is finally dropped. Face-off is going to be won by Sudbury, and then Martin with a shot, throwing an extra hit as well by Guy. Martin and Guy have a conversation, and then Coughlin having a chat with Troy Patton. So that is how this period ends.
You think Coughlin's just saying his goodbyes?
Maybe. You know, maybe we'll see each other in a different league at some time. Who knows?
We'll see you in the A, or who knows?
Who knows? But that'll do it for period number 1 as the players do separate. As Trevor Odell with a grin ear to ear going to the dressing room. Man, oh man.
Well, it's great to see some fight from the Sudbury Wolves. You know, some of these guys, Nemitz and Lemieux, don't normally get involved physically. So I'm glad to see that. Okay, if that's what you want to do in the postseason, let's see what you got. You're not going to be pushed around. You're going to push back.
So it was Nyman, 30 seconds into the period, opening up the scoring for Brampton after a bit of a defensive malfunction for Sudbury inside their own end, his third of the season from Demiglio and Witkowski. And then the Wolves, it was Chase Coughlin responding for Sudbury on the power play. Wolves go 1 for 2 on the man advantage that period. Assists going to Hudson Chitteroni and also Hudson Martin. We saw not one, but 2 scraps in the first period and quite a few penalties as well. But that's where we sit, tied up at 1s after the first period of play. Rick and I will take a break. We'll be back.
Hold it. I promise scores.
Oh, you did too. Hold on. That's right.
We got to deliver the OHL out of town scores because there are people who are following this right now. First day of spring.
I know a good pal of mine, Derek, is listening tonight. And Derek needs to know all the scores this evening, that's for sure. Okay. This is for Derek.
For Derek, okay, just for you. It's scoreless, London and Windsor. Seconds left in the first. Kitchener and Sarnia scoreless. Big one that we're watching as well. North Bay and Brantford tied at 1 after 1. Ottawa and Oshawa scoreless. The Pete's 2, Kingston 1 after 1. This is a big game for Peterborough. Guelph 3, Owen Sound 1, and the Sioux ahead of Saginaw by a score of 2-0 after 1 as well. So some big scores. We'll keep an eye on that. So keep it locked right here. We'll keep you posted all night long. How's that?
There's your OHL scores. In particular, a shout out to our pal and a faithful listener of this broadcast, Derek. That was for you tonight, my friend. Rick and I will step out. We'll be back in about 15 minutes or so for period number 2, 1-1 after the opening period. You're listening to and watching Wolves hockey. We'll be back in a bit.
seeking recruitment support in general labor or construction and mining, our expertise will equip you with seasoned professionals that align with your requirements. Talk to us today.
Hands against all odds. Home playoff tickets are on sale now. Game 3, March 31st, and Game 4, April 2nd. You can go to the ticket box office or go to greatercity.ca/tickets to grab your tickets. Get them now. Fans, we're sitting at $6,000. We're still climbing. We want to get these 50-50 tickets out. We want to see 15,000 in the next, well, by the beginning of third period. We want that up. It can be done. We've done it in the past. Scan the QR code, go to playforward5050.com or find your nearest associate. Grab those 50-50 tickets before the end of the second intermission.
Welcome back inside the Sudbury Community Arena. Brian Cooper alongside Rick Wyman getting set for period number 2. And let me tell you, if period number 2 is anything similar to period number 1, well, it could be a little longer than normal, but could also be a real treat between the Brampton Steelheads and the Sudbury Wolves.
Somebody just sent me a text identifying the opening period as goon hockey. I go, we're not quite at that stage yet,
Yeah,
but, you know.
Yeah, not there yet. This is just a classic tale of the last regular season matchup between these two clubs. Brampton not making the postseason. These two teams just played each other recently. They don't like each other very much. It's an opportunity for the Wolves to gain some momentum heading into the postseason. All of those things together is a recipe for a pretty feisty hockey game.
And you know what? I think we both like feisty. I just don't want it prolonged, if you know what I mean. Do what you got to do. Get it done. Move on.
And you don't want it out of control. Nobody wants that, obviously.
You alluded to Bennett, the Wolves Bennett. I'm dying to see how he's going to come back in the fall after working out in the gym this year. He's got to put on some weight and get some upper body strength. And if he can do that successfully in the offseason, we're going to see a lot of good things happen with him.
Well, we've kicked off the second period. And it's Wolves power play, by the way, to start things off. After some rough stuff at the end of the period, looks like a penalty was called. And so the Wolves are on a power play, set up inside the Brampton zone. Chase Coughlin around the boards to Provorov, back to Coughlin to the blue line. Hudson Martin will wait. To the side of the net, cross-ice feed for Provorov. Shot comes, rebound is there, picked up by Hudson Martin. However, he's forced to come back to center ice. Hudson Martin, cross-ice to Provorov. Back inside the Sudbury zone. Provorov to Martin. Martin for Sudbury will now move his way forward. Quick up to Braden Bennett. Look out, puck deflected over the glass, into the stands, out of play. Almost a minute gone in period number 2.
Okay, so the Wolves now, let's get some jump going here in the second period. And if you really want to beat Brampton, get a goal here early in the stages of the second period. And, you know, don't be playing catch-up hockey. Set the tone yourself. That's very important, especially come playoff time, because so many of the games, Coop, as you know, are going to be so close, and goaltending is going to be key.
Play continues. Artem Gonchar in the Sudbury zone right now. Again, Wolves on a power play. Gonchar going for his skate. Breaks out of the Sudbury zone. Cross-ice pass to Jan Hovan. Hovan not liking what he sees. Nearly coughed it up to Patton. But then it's Barahowski. Saucer pass inside the Brampton zone. Hovan a shot high and wide. Picked up at the blue line, though, by Ewells, who actually overskated the puck. So here comes Brampton. Shorthanded opportunity. Patton's going to be surrounded by a couple different Wolves skaters. Sudbury will escape their zone. 25 seconds left in this power play, though, for Sudbury as the puck comes behind the Sudbury net. Ewells off the boards to Gonchar. Gonchar to Hovan. Back to Ewells, who will skate into the Brampton zone. At the blue line, Barahowski couldn't hold the zone. And that's going to pretty much do it for this Sudbury power play as Brampton pushes it back into the Sudbury zone shorthanded. Botno for Brampton along the boards. Penalized skater Nyman is out of the box. And interestingly enough, Lemieux stays in the box for Sudbury, so we're going to have to look at the penalties that happened at the end of that period. Barahowski skating the puck into the Brampton zone, got a shot off, and it was fanned on. Brampton will regain possession. 2 minutes and a bit gone in period number 2. Tied up at 1s. Sudbury 12 shots, Brampton 7. No shots recorded yet in this second period for either club. Brampton back in their own ends, around their net. They'll put it off the glass and out to center ice. Here comes Brampton, though. An opportunity shot comes. There's the first shot of the period from the slot, and it's a good stick save made by the goaltender Bronis.
Well, they're adding as things go along. Brampton wound up with a fair share of penalties beginning at 1952. Peter Green, a 2-minute minor for instigator. Green, a 5-minute major for fighting. Lemieux, 2-minute minor for roughing. Nemec, 5-minute major for fighting. And Peter Green, misconduct for instigating.
Can confirm Lemieux has just come out of the box for Sudbury as well. So
again, on the first whistle, you get out of the box.
There you go.
Coincidental.
So play continues. Wolves get the puck into the Brampton zone. David Goyette's younger brother Matthew will skate it over to the goal scorer Nyman. And look out, a big hit thrown at center ice. And Jens Ula, being surrounded and down. And let me tell you, that absolutely stung him. 27. Jacob Sean Bulcha, he is still down.
He's not ready to get up. He needs some assistance here, somebody.
And it was Gens Ula who absolutely trolley tracked him at center ice. My goodness. He is still down on one knee. And good sportsmanship from Carter Kostic, actually grabbing a cloth from the Wolves bench and bringing it to him. Now the trainer for the Steelheads is out there looking after.
Well, there's blood. There's blood on the ice here.
And he's wearing a face mask. That shows how hard that hit was.
Well, the visor, the thing is, depending on how the impact affected him, and the thing is, the visor will go up, Coop. And if he got hit underneath, above the mouth, the nose level, you're going to get blood.
27, Jacob Sean Bulcha. He's gone to the Brampton dressing room.
He's going to have to be checked for a concussion as well.
Oh, my. So Gens Ula is in the box for Sudbury. I'll have to look at the replay. I can't recall if he was near the puck or not.
They got a 5 up on the board right now. If he gets the 5, he's gone.
Boy, oh, boy. So they're looking at it right now, reviewing. Bulcha gone to the dressing room for Brampton. And we are barely 3 minutes in, and there's a little bit of a mess that they'll have to clean up off the ice as well. Obviously hope the best for Jacob Sean.
Yeah, we're not going to see that. Just following league protocol. Anything contentious like that, they're not going to show on the board.
Yeah. Either way, heavy hit right at center ice. So we've clearly picked up from where we left off back in the first period with the heavy hits. We saw a lot of them thrown in period number period number one between these two clubs.
Well, as a referee, I don't mind a good hit, but when a person is wobbling on one knee on the ice, I don't like that. And the thing is,
nobody likes that. No.
We all have to get up in the morning and do what we do, but that situation did not look good at all.
So, like I said, we hope all the best for Jacob Bulcha, one of the younger skaters on this Brampton Steelheads club.
Well, Ula is still in the box right now. They're going to give him 5.
And actually, tough call. This is his first game with Brampton.
So he's probably a call-up.
He's first game with the Steelheads.
No, Ula's still there. They're just giving him a deuce. So had it been a 5, he would have been gone.
So, Steelheads. Looks like Daniels is off in the box for Brampton as well, by the way. So Daniels and Ula are having more of an extended conversation now. Daniels wanted a piece of Ula after that hit.
And they're still yakking at each other.
So buckle up, as they say at the rodeo. Friday night hockey at the Sudbury Barn. Fans are having a hoot here tonight at the Sudbury Community Arena. They know their team's locked in for a first-round playoff matchup against the Brantford Bulldogs. I was just chatting with a fan, actually, in the intermission. He actually said he just bought season tickets for next year already. He's been having so much fun.
Well, plus you also have the advantage of getting seats for the playoffs by doing that.
There you go.
Nice incentive.
Yeah, that's exactly what he said. He said, why not? So here we go, face-off at center ice. Draw won by Brampton. Steelheads Botno across the Brampton zone. Center ice it goes. Brampton will fire it in. Goaltender Bronis out to play it. Brampton will try to maintain possession, but it's the Wolves taking it over. So a couple minor penalties at either end. Daniels for Brampton and against Ula, 2 minutes. J.C. Lemieux for Sudbury into the Brampton zone. On the outside. Back to the blue line it'll go as the defenseman Gavin Yules will join the fun. 3.5 minutes gone now in second period action. Brampton, though, into the Sudbury zone. Cartwright, good poke check made by Artem Gonchar. Wolves can't clear the zone. Now they do, just barely across their own blue line. Reed Gee going to be hit from behind by Gonchar. Play will continue. Puck around the Sudbury net. Yules will come to a complete stop. Now he moves forward beyond the Sudbury net, looking to his side. He'll drop for J.C. Lemieux, who's tripped up. Fans are going to call for a penalty, and then he...
No, that's a penalty. You can't take a player's stick and shoot it away from the player.
So that's what Lemieux did. He shot the stick away, so that is going to be a penalty for him. And then fans are going to give it to the refs. However, it's an easy call for the referee on the Wolves side of things. So just to kind of paint the picture for you, if you're listening to the broadcast, Lemieux, I don't even know if he was tripped up. The stick ended up under his arm. No call on that play. And then he turned around because the Brampton skater lost his stick. And then right at the last second, he shot the stick away. And that is why Lemieux is in the box now for Sudbury.
Should have been 2 penalties on that. Well, anyways, the referee called 1. We're not going to get into the wherefores and whys.
Nope.
But again, that was a penalty. You cannot shoot away a player's stick if he's attempting to get it.
So another Wolves penalty. 15.5 in the second period. Brampton skating out of their own ends on a power play now. Wolves penalty box is completely full. 2 players still in the box for the Steelheads. Puck around the Sudbury net, and then Trevor O'Dell will make no mistake. He sees a lot of penalty killing time for the Wolves with that long reach. And that's exactly why, as he gets the puck the distance back into the Brampton zone. DeMiglio for Brampton, hovering around center ice. Now he moves it forward to Goyette. Goyette back to DeMiglio. Brampton now steps into the Sudbury zone. Score still tied up at 1s, by the way, if you're just joining the broadcast tonight. Puck inside the Sudbury zone. Brampton on a power play. Along the boards it'll go. Held on to at the blue line. Goyette will wait. Toe drag. Shot comes. Good block for Henderson. Rebound out in front. Ends up behind the Sudbury net. Bronis not needing to make a save. And then guess who? Trevor O'Dell launching the puck the distance. And the Wolves will go for a line change as penalty killers change up. Brampton skating it into the Sudbury zone. Power play has about 40 seconds left. Wolves back the other direction, led by Coughlin, the only goal scorer so far tonight for Sudbury. A shot from the outside, shorthanded, goes wide. Takes a wicked bounce, ends up back inside the Sudbury zone, and then Hudson Martin, without any hesitation, will fire it right back into the Brampton zone. Coughlin on the forecheck for Sudbury. Cartwright, though, for Brampton, across center. Steelheads put themselves offside, and a face-off will result just outside of the Brampton zone.
Not even close. One of the battalion forwards simply dragging himself across the line. That's offside, and face-off coming out. Still a 1-1 game after close to 6 minutes now. 14:05 remaining in the second period. We'll check out out-of-town scores and a lot more coming up at the conclusion of this period.
Face-off won by Sudbury with 10 seconds left in this power play. Brampton taking it across center, jumping into the Sudbury zone. Aggleton leading that charge for the Steelheads around the Sudbury net. O'Dell poked it forward. Blake Clayton got it to the blue line, but not out. Brampton on the outside. Cartwright back to the blue line. Shot coming. Blocked by Henderson. Power play is done. Henderson will lob it to center, and then J.C. Lemieux fresh out of the box. First man into the Brampton zone. One-on-one with Guy. However, it's poked away by Cartwright of the Steelheads to center. Trevor O'Dell again, firing it into the Brampton zone. And then looks like an offside call against Sudbury as Chitteroni was in there maybe a little bit too soon.
Well, home playoff tickets are on sale right now for the fans interested in coming to see some postseason action. Good opportunity to renew or get your season tickets. And again, make sure you don't miss out on the action. So the first 2 games in the Brantford-Sudbury series will be Thursday, Friday, and then the series reverts back to Sudbury Tuesday and Thursday, a week from Tuesday and a week from Thursday. Correctamundo?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So Brantford next week, followed by Sudbury a week from Tuesday and a week from Thursday. So again, call the box office, do what you have to do, take out a second mortgage. Tickets are available, but you got to get them. Just kidding about the whole mortgage aspect. It's you don't want to miss out on what's happening here. So plus you get a good choice of seats, and yeah, it'll be hopping.
Yeah, it's crazy. Game 1, March 27th. Brantford. Pretty wild. Pretty wild. Face-off just outside.
Yeah, that's next Friday night.
Yes, sir, Bob. Face-off won by Sudbury. They'll chip it into the Brampton zone. Off the glass it goes, played by the goaltender Bowen. Through the slot. Gonchar off the side. Good passing for Sudbury off the goalpost. Puck took some wild bounces.
And Bowen got a piece of it with his paddle.
And somehow he got a piece of that. That'll be a fun one to look at in a replay. Wolves nearly made it a 2-1 hockey game. Gonchar gliding his way into the Brampton zone. Takes it to the corner. Nifty little dipsy doodle, but doesn't really get much further. Brampton to center ice. Opportunity for the Steelheads into the Sudbury zone. Barahowski going to be run in too hard by Ty Daniels, who's also fresh out of the box. Wolves across center, led by Chitteroni. Chitteroni to the side. Barahowski off the boards. Pass out in front where Gonchar was waiting. Artem Gonchar back to the blue line. Provorov He'll put it off the boards, picked up by Chitteroni. Chitteroni to Hudson Martin, overskated the puck, and look out, a steal for Brampton back the other way. Steelheads cross ice pass, wrap around feed, picked off by the long reach of O'Dell for Sudbury. Brampton, opportunity in the slot, shot comes, nice pad save for Bronis. Wolves are just gonna slap at the distance, therefore it's gonna be an icing call made against Sudbury.
Tough save for Bronis on that play, but he did manage to get that left leg along the ice to kick it out. And again, we're still at 1 with 12:02, almost 8 minutes gone here in the second period. Rick Wyman, Brian Cooper, glad you could join us as we wrap up regular season play. It just seemed like it started last week, but here it is already playoff time. It's gone by quickly.
Face off inside the Sudbury zone, won by the Wolves. To center ice, Hudson Chitteroni, a wrister high, way wide on purpose, trying to do the old dump and chase. However, it's the Steelheads taking it to center ice. Picked off, though, by the stick of Gens Ula. Off the boards, Adam Nemitz, and in case you're joining the broadcast, he did drop the mitts, which I have not seen from him before back in the first period. Nemitz jumping into the Brampton zone, however, a weird bounce. Wolves will get it back inside the Sudbury zone. Trevor O'Dell for Sudbury. Drops it off the boards to Ula. 11:20 left, period number 2. Against Ula, who is known to often throw his body around, and he did that at the beginning of this second period against a young up-and-comer skater on his, looks like his debut with the Brampton Steelheads tonight. Ula will move his way forward. Going for a skate across the red line, around the Brampton net. First on it, J.C. Lemieux for Sudbury. Off the boards, Adam Nemitz on the forecheck. Brampton will get it to center ice. Hudson Martin will stop it there. Over to Nemitz again. Nemitz throwing his weight around, and then Lemieux takes the tumble. Gets basically sat on and along the boards. Lemieux and Aggleton get tangled up. Now they're separated. Wolves firing it right back into the Brampton zone, approaching the halfway mark of the second period. Wolves have possession inside the Brampton zone. Jan Hovan, nice pass to Kearns. Shot comes, deflected just wide. The Go Wolves Go chants have started. Haven't seen the wave form in a long time here in the Sudbury Arena. Lemieux has shot. That one goes wide, and a lot of bodies in front of the Brampton net. Carter Kostic back to the blue line for Sudbury. To Kearns. Kearns dropping for Lemieux. Shot comes high and wide. Right off the back of the net. Going for the Michigan was Hovan. Another shot, and he scores! Getting his own rebound, Jan Hovan. And it's a 2-1 hockey game.
So he tries to Michigan. That doesn't work. Gets his rebound and scores. Normally you score on the first attempt on the Michigan. That didn't happen, and Hovan gets the rebound. Beautiful play. Caught everyone by surprise. And again, the backhander, a lot easier. You don't see guys actually score with the backhander, but in this case, it worked after he couldn't get great control on that Michigan effort. But hey, it still counts.
Still counts.
It's a 2-1 game.
Face off at center ice. Won by the Steelheads. Without hesitation, they'll jump into the Sudbury zone. Shot comes. Stick save made by Bjorn Bronis. Goyen at the blue line for Brampton. A shot, and they score. They tie it up. A deflection by Witkowski. And just like that, it's a 2-2 hockey game.
Wow, that was a strange one.
Deflection in front. And a perfect deflection by Witkowski. What hand-eye coordination that was.
Just an innocent shot taken from that point, from the right point area, and again, it's in. I don't think Bronis saw that properly.
Well, and again, it was a deflection. Witkowski was standing off the side of the net. The shot wasn't even going to hit the net, and a perfect deflection to go top shelf over Bronis. You got to give credit where credit is due. Good high hand coordination for Witkowski.
It's like Don Cherry always said, just put the puck in the area of the net. Strange things can happen.
It's funny that you mentioned Cherry, because he was always one who said that backhand shots were the toughest to stop for a goaltender. You just don't know where they're going to go. As now another thunderous hit by Gens Ula inside the Sudbury zone. It was a reversal that time. 2-2. Henderson taking the puck into the Brampton zone. He's going to get nailed by Reed Gee. And then he gives a shot right back to Gee again. 9:05 remaining in period number 2. A little bit of everything in this one. Lots of rough stuff, lots of hits. And now we've seen some scoring. One by Jan Hovan, and then a few seconds later, Witkowski ties it up. Wolves back into the Brampton zone. Henderson to the center ice area where Ula was waiting. Gens Ula will put it back to his defensive partner, Odell's stick. Odell to Coughlin, quick up to Clayton. Clayton drops for Henderson. Henderson at center, around the Brampton net. Wolves will pick it up just inside the blue line. Lots of extra hits being thrown as we're in the second half of period number 2.
Another one right by the Wolves bench. What the heck, let it go. No call.
Wolves are going to fire the puck into the Brampton zone. Goaltender Bowen thought it was going to be an icing call. Play resumes. Vladimir Provorov along the boards for Sudbury. Wrapping it around Chase Coughlin, who scored back in the first period. He's on the forecheck. Patton's going to be run into by Provorov. 8 minutes left in the second period. It's now Goyette and Chitteroni exchanged a few shots back and forth. Puck still inside the Brampton zone. Provorov overskated the puck, and then Brampton will lob it to center and out. All the way back is the big defenseman Finn Kearns to Chitteroni. Chitteroni to Barahowski, dropping for Chitteroni. Shot comes, rebound in front, picked off by Brampton. Back the other direction with a burst of speed. Demiglio, shot comes, and he runs hard into Kearns. Brampton still putting the pressure on with 7 and a bit to remaining in period number 2. Brampton around the Sudbury net. Steelheads to the front. Picked up by Keaton Arda. And then the Steelheads blow a tire. That was Arda. Wolves get it at center.
Yeah, they had the puck, wanted to make the move, and just fell.
Tripped over that blue line. Every once in a while, sneaks up on you. Around the Brampton net, the Wolves are passed out in front. It's loose. Chitteroni was standing right there, but the Steelheads found it and took it into the corner instead. 6:45 left in period number 2. Steelheads to center ice, lobbing it deep inside the Sudbury zone. Steelheads getting a full line change. This gives the Wolves a chance to move it out of their zone, led by Nemitz. Adam Nemitz, cross center. Quick up to Barahowski. Barahowski back to Nemitz. Nemitz quick up to Yules, who couldn't hang on to the puck. Brampton will just put it to center, picked up by Yules inside the Sudbury zone. Again, 2-2 between Sudbury and Brampton. Gavin Yules in front of the Sudbury net. Now he moves his way forward. Over to Nemitz. Nemitz across center ice. They'll do the drop pass looking for Gonchar, and Gonchar almost went the opposite direction.
Turned left when he should have turned right.
Scary moment. Lemieux burst to speed the other direction. A shot off of the mask, it looked like, of the goaltender, Zach Bowen. Under 6 minutes remaining in period number 2. Wolves inside the Brampton zone. At the blue line, just barely kept in. Nope, it was not by Gonchar. He's forced to come all the way back. Artem Gonchar. Gonchar being watched carefully by Jack Yates, but Gonchar gets the puck forward to Lemieux. Henderson just inside the Brampton zone, over to Gonchar. Gonchar, an opportunity, space to move it. Tried going for the pretty pass, and now Brampton will come back the other way with a rush of their own. Around the Sudbury net, Yules is on it. Off the boards it goes. Picked up by Jan Hovan. Hovan over to Gonchar. One move too many, perhaps. 5 and a bit left. And now a pass out in front. Steelheads with a shot, and it's gobbled up neatly by the goaltender, Baronis.
Yeah, a fairly steady game for him. I mean, after all, Brampton with only 12 shots and the Wolves 14, so TV timeout. And of course, guys will get a bit of a break here as we finish off the rest of this period. Busy crowd here tonight, of course, raising funds, 50-50 draw, trying to increase that jackpot. And people are just having a good time, looking forward to the playoffs starting up. And you know what, it's people won't be deterred by the weather.
That's right.
And the thing is, they've got to come out and enjoy themselves, and they're here. So again, can it get any worse than what happened Sunday, Monday? No. I'll say that unequivocally.
So a couple goals this period. Of course, the Witkowski goal coming from Goyen and Arda. Jan Hovan's goal, J.C. Lemieux picking up the initial assist, and then special shout out to Finn Kearns picking up his first ever OHL point. He picks up the secondary assist.
Yeah, he's had a couple of chances in games, but he finally cashes in. That's great.
Good for Finn Kearns. Now full time with the Wolves. One of those gritty defensemen that they need on the back end. Face off inside the Sudbury zone. Brampton, they won the draw, and they're turning up the pressure with just under 5 minutes remaining in period number 2. Gens Ula run in too hard by Patton. And then the Wolves will take it out of their zone off the boards, as Clayton will chase the puck inside as well. Gets run into and interfered with a little bit by Goyette. Play will continue. Steelheads lob it to center. Gens Ula around the Brampton net. Stopped behind by the goaltender Bowen. Goyette. And in case you're a faithful Wolves listener, you might hear that and say, hold on. Recognize that last name. It is David Goyette's younger brother. Rowan Henderson back inside the Sudbury zone with 4 and change to go in the second period. Wolves with another errant pass. Offside call was made, and probably a fortunate whistle, as it was going to be a 3-on-2 rush the other way.
Wolves got confused at their own blue line, so right in front of the Wolves bench. Okay, we've got 4:10 remaining here in the second period. And the Wolves and Brampton thought that we'd have a lot more scoring in this game than we have had so far, with only 4 goals. But hey, there's always a third period, so someone's got to explode here.
Face off won by the Steelheads. Nyman, who scored back in the first period, puts it off the glass deep inside the Sudbury zone, and then the Wolves will be back the other direction. Bennett lobbing it in. He's going to chase down the loose puck as well. Braden Bennett finding that loose puck. Now looking back to the blue line. Finn Kearns. The wrister comes deflected high off the glass. Finn Kearns looking more and more comfortable with that Wolves jersey on. Sporting a face mask again for tonight's game. Steelheads will move it to center ice and out. DeMiglio. Shot comes. Stick save made by Bronis. Steelheads putting it around the Sudbury net, and again Finn Kearns will move it forward for Sudbury, and look out, he got hit by DeMiglio. Nemitz needing a line change will lob it into the Brampton zone. A wholesale change now for Sudbury defensemen and forwards, as the Steelheads are also looking for a change, so they'll lob it further into the Sudbury zone. Wolves put it around the boards but not out. Goes around the Sudbury net. Gonchar tied up at 2s at the tail end of period number 2. Steelheads off the boards. Bottineau leading the charge for Brampton. He gets a little bit of help, and now some extra pushing and shoving. Gavin Ewell's throwing his man around. DeMiglio. A weak shot from Brampton. Easy stick save, and a routine one at that for Bronis. Good pressure right now, though, from Brampton inside the Sudbury zone at the blue line. Goyette will wait. He'll get a shot deflected in front into the corner, and it will be found by Provorov. Provorov off the glass, quick up to Chitteroni, who could not escape the Sudbury zone. Around the boards it goes. Provorov back to help out defensively for the Wolves. Brampton keeping the Wolves hemmed in. Brampton keeping it on the outside though right now. Off the boards it goes. And then Patton will pick up the loose puck. Patton back to the blue line. 2 minutes remaining in period number 2. Goyette will take a shot. Goes off the skate of Hudson Chitteroni. Steelheads again around the Sudbury net, picked up at the blue line by Guy. Guy right back into the corner where Aggleton was waiting. Aggleton a forward feed, and that time a good read by Artem Gonchar. Gonchar quick up to Chitteroni. Chitteroni to center ice. Chitteroni will take it down the wing. A shot ends up going wide. Gonchar will wait for the puck, and look out, nearly got nailed by Reed Guy. Guy back on it again. He's watched by J.C. Lemieux. Off the boards, inside Brampton's territory. They put it to center ice. That's about as far as they go that time, though. They'll get another chance to chip it inside Wolves territory, but it's the Wolves' turn to turn it back. O'Dell moving it to center. Jan Hovan will find it up to Nemitz. Nemitz from the outside, saucer pass, nice feed and a shot from J.C. Lemieux. And the goaltender Bowen had to be careful on that one. What a pass from Nemitz.
And what impressed me the most was that how quickly he was actually able to unleash that shot.
Because that was a saucer pass, Rick. Came off the ice, perfectly placed.
Beauty. Well, hey, Lemieux's got skill.
Yeah,
he can get that shot away, and it was almost 3-2, but good save by Bowen.
A minute 12 left in the second period. Brian Cooper alongside Rick Wyman. Our final Friday night regular season home game. It's been a fun night so far. It's been a fun season, in fact. It's been great calling games with you all season long, Rick. Wolves inside the Brampton zone. Couldn't get a shot off that time. Brampton will get it back as Trevor O'Dell works on his man. Around the Sudbury net it goes. DenCast. Final minute of play in the second period. Jan Hovan to Nemitz. Nemitz toe drag move. Cross ice feed to Lemieux. Lemieux into the corner where Nemitz was waiting. Nemitz off the boards. And it'll be the Steelheads trying to clear but not out. Caught by O'Dell. He leapt off of the ice to grab that one. Clayton a shot. Look out. Deflected into the mesh. And out of play for a whistle with 34.6 remaining.
Yes, it's amazing what we do over the course of the regular season, and it's our chances to get a couple of hours and watch junior hockey. And again, with David Bowen, who's not with us tonight, he's out of country. That's all he said, out of country. Hopefully he's back this weekend. Yeah. He's got a broadcast on Sunday he's got to do. So one of those things that it's always great to hang out with you guys. And I always say the playoffs offer the best, and the best is yet to come.
It's funny, I was texting with him tonight, and I said, are you going to be at the rink? And he said, dude, I'm at the airport right now. So, David's off for an adventure. That's all we know.
Oh, so he's leaving the country, or he's coming back?
Unless he really likes airports. I don't know.
Okay. So he's at an airport. We don't know if he's coming or going.
We don't know.
Okay.
20 seconds remaining in period number 2. I mean, maybe he's just got a thing for airports. Who knows? They're a lot of fun.
Some people do.
I like watching airplanes. Wolves take the puck into the Brampton zone. 10 seconds left, and now we got a penalty as I believe Henderson took a high stick. And so it's going to be a Wolves power play at the tail end of this period.
It happened behind the play. You want to see an airport and get lost? Houston.
Ooh.
Incredibly sized airport. Chicago's also multi-layered. Of course, it's a hub for travel across the U.S.
Yeah.
Atlanta's another one. Beautiful airport. And
isn't the Detroit airport really cool as well?
I've never been to the Detroit one, but I've been to several others. But Houston, an incredibly sized airport.
All right, face off inside the Brampton zone. Won by Sudbury. 5 seconds left on the clock. Wolves are on a power play. But Brampton's going to ice the puck. Underrated airport, by the way, Billy Bishop in Toronto.
Okay, I kind of take that one for granted, but one of these days I want to take the flight directly to Billy Bishop.
You should. Do Porter, man. Fly Porter.
Then you're downtown. Yeah. And another one I really want to see and check out, LAX.
Ooh, yeah.
I've heard a lot about LAX travel.
There you go.
And again, our airports are fascinating. You've got something going here, so you know what? We could talk about airports all night long. I've also been to Frankfurt.
Okay.
The airport in Frankfurt.
There you go.
And beautiful airport, of course, in Europe. Where else? In the former Yugoslavia. Just a couple of airports I've been. Edmonton was kind of neat. That's the airport where I actually got to see Wayne Gretzky and Mark Messier.
There you go. There's the hockey segue. I was waiting for it. That's great.
It was after a Colorado-Edmonton game, and this was the time where teams didn't have their charter. So I get ready to take my flight back to Toronto, and who do I see? Wayne Gretzky, Mark Messier, Paul Coffey.
That's cool.
It's like, do I go over and make a fool of myself and ask for an autograph, or just wave to them and say, hey, guys?
Hi. Well, speaking of hockey, I know you're checking other scores in the Ontario Hockey League.
We got to check these scores.
What else is going on, Rick?
Airports. Here we go. After 2, it's London leading the Spitfires 2-1. This is huge for London, by the way. Kitchener and Sarnia tied at 2. Brantford leading North Bay by a score of 4-2 after 2. Ottawa 2, Oshawa 2. Pete's 3, Kingston 2 after 2. Guelph 4, Owen Sound 2. And good news for the Sioux. Greyhounds 5 and Saginaw no score. So again, Sault Ste. Marie's winning. London's also winning. So we need a bit of a comeback there from Windsor to make things harder for London to hold on to 4th place. So if the Sioux wins tonight, that's huge. If London can lose, that's even better.
Interesting. Well, whether you're listening at home, whether you're listening in your vehicle, or whether you're listening at the airport, we're grateful that you're tuning into Wolves hockey tonight. Friday night hockey, final regular season home game for the Sudbury Wolves. They do play Sunday afternoon on the road in North Bay to officially wrap things up for the regular season and then postseason action. 2 periods down here, though, at the Sudbury Community Arena. 2-2. Rick and I will take a break. We'll be back in about 15 minutes for 3rd period action. You're listening to and watching Wolves hockey. We'll be back in a bit.
schools in which business communications play. From our earliest days here at the Hockey Hall of Fame, we wanted to be a place where hockey fans can come and really experience the game. Some would say we were before interactive was interactive, and that we make some mistakes. But we think we've really nailed it this time. Safe, calm, all the act of Hockey Hall of Fame.
We've got 30 seconds to get this 50-50 total up to 10,000. Keep going, folks. Don't forget to grab those 50-50 tickets before the end of the second intermission. You can find your nearest associate, or you go to playitforward5050.com. Get those tickets within the next 4.5 minutes. So close, folks, we want to see that hit 10 grand. It will be record breaking for this season. That will be your take home, changing lives tonight. The Sudbury Wolves would like to welcome the following groups to tonight's game. Everybody listening on Top of the Draw and everybody else here tonight, welcome tonight's final home. Here we go, Wolves Nation. Please welcome back to the ice, your Sudbury Wolves.
Three, two, one.
Welcome back inside the Sudbury Community Arena. Brian Cooper alongside Rick Wyman. Period number 3 inbound. It is tied up at 2s. We saw 2 goals in the first period. We saw 2 goals in the second period. Rick, what do you think we are going to brace ourselves for in period number 3?
Well, I like the fact that Sudbury did have a brief 2-1 lead in this game. Brampton comes right back. So again, let's see some initiative offensively on behalf of the Sudbury Wolves to get things going, because look, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. This is not Brantford you're playing tonight, Sudbury. So again, we saw what happened before. Let's start getting into that whole rhythm for playoff activity. Otherwise, you play Brantford, it's going to be a short series. So I'd like to see them open it up. I like the fact that they're playing more aggressive hockey. In some cases, they're just retaliating, but okay, start taking it to Brampton and don't get pushed around, but let's see what you can do offensively. I mean, Coop, this game doesn't mean anything in the standings, so you want to take some chances. Let's see what you can do with the offense and open things up.
Well, here we go, set to drop the puck for period number 3. Let's get her done. Barahowski, Hovan, and Lemieux up front for Sudbury, and the Wolves do win the draw. Gonchar, little drop pass, and look out, nearly coughed it up inside the Sudbury zone. Lemieux, though, read that one. And then a shot from Witkowski right onto the stick of Bjorn Bronis. So the Wolves on a power play to start off this period. They have the same situation to start off period number 2 as well. Wolves will skate it into the Brampton zone, but they give it away. And then Brampton will lob it in, getting a quick line change. Artem Gonchar for Sudbury. Quick up to Barahowski. Barahowski back into the Sudbury zone where Lemieux was waiting. Lemieux forward pass to Hovan. Hovan around the Brampton net. Barahowski will wait for it. Off the boards to Lemieux. Lemieux back to the blue line where Nemitz was waiting. However, comes beyond the blue line, so the Wolves will have to regroup again. Gonchar to center ice. Lemieux, J.C. Lemieux back to Nemitz. Nemitz to Gonchar. Gonchar across the Wolves blue line. Saucer pass to Barahowski off the blade of his stick. He'll carry it into the Brampton zone around the Steelheads net. Wolves will keep it in. Are they set up yet on the power play, though? Now they are. At the blue line, Gonchar. Gonchar cross ice to Lemieux. A shot comes. Good block made by Zach Nyman, not Zach Hyman. No, Zach Hyman is not playing for the Brampton Steelheads, in case you're wondering.
It's Zach Nyman.
Zach Nyman. Not to be confused with Zach Hyman of the Edmonton Oilers. Just in case. Wolves carry it back into the Brampton zone. 10 seconds left in this power play before Cartwright's coming back out of the box for the Steelheads. Wolves are inside the Brampton zone. Coughlin, who scored back in the first period, doesn't hold the zone, but back to even strength. Puck back inside the Wolves territory. Hudson Martin comes to a stop. Now he'll make his way forward. Martin off the boards. Coughlin will finish the job and chip the puck into the Brampton zone. Goaltender Bowen is out, feeding a pass out in front to DeMiglio. To center ice, picked off though by Finn Kearns, who, by the way, has his first OHL point with an assist back in that second period. And if you're Wolves fans, you're hoping that will be maybe more heading into next season. Finn Kearns, of course, not playing with the Wolves for the entirety this season. Playing with St. Andrews College. As soon as his time there was done, he's got a full-time role here with the Wolves. Puck to center ice. Led by Gens Ula. Puck on a string right now, as it was going to be offside. Ula read that one. Around the Brampton net. Almost 3 minutes gone in period number 3. Steelheads firing it to center ice. Skating the puck in will be Lachlan Larmon. Pass out in front. Shot comes. Good block for Rowan Henderson. Around the Sudbury net is Gens Ula. Ula being surrounded by Larmon. Larmon putting the body on Ula. And now a crowd forms in behind the Sudbury net. By the way, just 3 shots for that whole second period for Sudbury. And just 6 for the Brampton Steelheads in period number 2.
Rather low-key.
Very low-key. Anderson turning his jets on, getting all the way into the Brampton zone. Drop pass for Clayton. Pass out in front, looking for Coughlin. Doesn't pick it up. Steelheads need a line change. And it'll be Sudbury slowing it down on their own end again. Gavin Ewells, one of the 3 skaters honored before the game, as he's one of the overage players for the Wolves, playing his final regular season home game in his OHL career. Getting the puck to center ice. Braden Bennett will trail the puck in around the Brampton net. Bennett still has it. Braden Bennett back to the blue line. Ewells, wrister comes, deflected actually off his own man, Ethan Dean, who was parked out in front of the net. Another shot from the outside. Dean standing in front. Back to the blue line. An opportunity for Dean. Wrister comes. Glove save, it looked like, and look out, the puck almost came over the glass. Delayed offside for Sudbury. Puck in front of the Brampton net. Brampton needing a line change, so they'll dump it into the Sudbury zone again. Couple close calls, tied up at 2s. 15 and a half remaining in the third period as Artem Gonchar glides his way into the Brampton zone. Backhand style to Ethan Dean of Sudbury. Dean's going to get a shot off. Nice pad save made for Bowen. Another feed out in front. Dean couldn't get his stick on it. Steelheads come back the other way. A shot by Yates. High and way wide. Into the mesh. And out of play.
Gotta ask, what's your take on the playoffs, Sudbury and Brantford? It's going to be one of those affairs that you think, okay, point-wise, the Wolves look like they don't have a choice. But to, you know, maybe wave a flag, a white flag, and see what happens. But no. Hockey's not played that way. We've seen 8th place teams win the Stanley Cup after finishing 8th in their own division. So any take on what you see? Brantford looks good. Sudbury Wolves, do they have a chance?
Well, face off inside the Sudbury zone.
We'll get to that momentarily.
We'll get to that, and I can let you know now as they're going to do a little redo. You know, I'm one of those guys who's optimistic. I've seen those situations happen where the bottom seed actually upsets the top seed. I'm a firm believer in anything can happen in the playoffs. I would say most people are probably betting that Brantford will take the series, just given where they are in the standings. However, like I said, anything can happen in the postseason, whether it's the NHL, whether it's the OHL, the AHL, you name it, it happens. And you know what? The way this Wolves team has progressed, this is the other factor. In the second half of the season, yes, they traded away some big pieces in Villeneuve, Ferrand, and Walton. However, I have seen personally anyways, maybe opinion here, some really positive progression. It looks like the team has really come together. They've got a level of grit that you also need heading into the postseason. They've got that, so who knows?
And they've played better this season against better teams than they have against teams of their own ilk or lower base teams.
That's right. And between Frasca and Bronis, while not perfect, their goaltending has been all right as well. And that can be a huge factor when it comes to playoffs. So
I still think that Frasca's got to be the difference in a couple of games, and he'd be the guy to turn things around.
Yep. So postseason, man, it is a fun time. Puck inside the Sudbury zone as play continues. 2-2 tie between Sudbury and Brampton. Wolves unable to exit their own zone. Look like they're going to have a bonus opportunity. Now they'll get it. Kearns off the glass to center ice, and that's about as far as the Wolves get. Sudbury will change up a couple forwards. Provorov out for Sudbury. Ovan needed a line change. Brampton firing it around the Sudbury net. Kearns will pick it up off the boards, lobbing it, nearly got coughing it up. Brampton in front of the net. Shot coming. Good poke check for the goaltender, Bronis. Cheddaroni for Sudbury. Chipping it to center. And J.C. Lemieux needed a line change, so he's off to the Wolves bench. Brampton will slow it down on their own end. Speaking of Bronis, I mean, that's also a kicker. When you've got two goaltenders that are playing well, that's a great recipe heading into the postseason. If need be, you've got a Bronis that you could rely on.
Well, I still maintain that someone's got to steal a game or two or three, make a difference in that series against Brantford. And the thing is, got goaltending. Anything, like you said, can happen.
Play continues. Puck at center ice with 13:15 remaining in the third period. Cheddaroni leading the charge for Sudbury into the Brampton zone. He falls. Puck will be picked up by Botno around the Brampton net, and then Berehowski to the slot. Provorov couldn't get a shot off, but he got it back to the blue line. Ula, shot deflected into the mesh. Out of play. And with that, we'll take a quick stoppage in the action.
I'm sure people are probably listening and saying, you know what, Rick, what are you talking about? Anything can happen. Brantford, just so much better than Sudbury, but we've seen it time and time again. You name the sport. Who would have thought Italy would have made the quarterfinals of the World Baseball Classic? But they did. And the thing is, sometimes teams can just rally to the cause, and stranger things have happened. So again, some of the other playoff matchups as well, you take a look, and it's like March Madness. Okay, March Madness, one and done. But there's always a huge upset in the first and second round as well.
Yeah.
Couple of games are close, tight, but a couple of upsets, and but that's a different scenario too, where the series is won and you're done.
Mm-hmm. You never know when it comes to the OHL postseason. It's an exciting time though. And it all gets underway in the next couple of weeks. Face off inside the Brampton zone. Won by Sudbury. Ewells will wire it around. Ewells to Coughlin. Coughlin on the outside, back to the blue line from one overage to another. Ewells around the Brampton net. Henderson was waiting for it. To Coughlin. Coughlin pushed into the boards. Helped out by Blake Clayton, and now we got two penalties coming as there was a bit of a skirmish in front of the Brampton net.
Yep, so you send them both off.
Henderson for Sudbury, and looks like Nyman for the Brampton Steelheads.
Rowan Anderson finishing up his second season. Going to be interesting to see how things play out for him coming back next year, the veteran in this club. And again, with his leadership and ability, going to be a team leader.
Well, I know scouts have had their eyes on him as well. Certainly developed in a variety of areas, that's for sure.
Well, he's one of the hardest working members on this team.
Yep. Face off inside the Brampton zone, 12:41 remaining. A pair of penalties dished out to Henderson and Nyman. Draw one by Sudbury. J.C. Lemieux off the boards. Looking for Jan Hovan. Found Nemitz. Nemitz who will carry it around the Brampton net. Fed a pass out looking for Lemieux, but that was stolen by the Steelheads. Steelheads get it to center. Eventually into the Sudbury zone, but that was found by Artem Gonchar. Gonchar, look out, coughs up the puck inside the Sudbury zone. And now Brampton will fish it back in their own ends. 4-on-4 hockey for a little bit. Little bit of extra space to work with. Not quite the same freedom as 3-on-3, obviously, but still, it's amazing the difference you can notice when you remove two of the players. Owen Cartwright moving forward for the Brampton Steelheads. He'll take it across center. Doing a good job of it as well, passing a puck out in front, nearly getting a deflection. Goaltender Bronis not needing to make a save. Brampton getting a pass all the way back into their own ends, using their goaltender. Why not? And then their goaltender Bowen will hand it off to Goyette. Goyette, the defenseman, skating it forward to Cartwright. Cartwright again. He's been all over the ice this third period for Brampton at the blue line. Opportunity for Goyette, who couldn't shoot. Cross ice to Cartwright. Wolves doing a good job keeping Brampton on the outside right now. Brampton Steelheads at the blue line. Goyette, Cartwright, shot deflected into the mesh. and out of play. 11:07 remaining in period number 3, and again tied up at 2.
There are several key players on this Wolves roster that will be relied on quite heavily to deliver come playoff time against Brantford. Lemieux, Nemitz, Hovan being 3 already. And again, the clamps can't be placed on these guys. If they come empty, it's going to be tough. But here's an opportunity to play some really good competition and get things going offensively, and that's going to be the key to the series, because you can stop all the pucks you want to, Coop, but in the playoffs, somebody's got to score and somebody's got to take that leadership.
Face off one inside the Sudbury zone by the Steelheads. Around the Sudbury net goes Yules. He was held on to a little bit, but wins the battle regardless. Chitteroni back, handing the puck back to Yules. Yules forward pass to Hudson Martin. Chase Coughlin, Chitteroni, and then Chitteroni throwing a hit in along the boards. Decked from behind, looks like Coughlin again. He's slow to get up, and there will be a penalty coming against Brampton. After Coughlin heads back to the Sudbury bench, he shakes that one off. Chase Coughlin. You were talking about Henderson being one of the hardest working skaters. Coughlin's got to be one of the toughest. He gets a lot of rough stuff, that's for sure. As the Wolves have the extra attacker on right now inside the Brampton zone.
Player going to the bench after getting high sticked, I think.
Anderson back to the blue line. Yules, extra attacker out there right now for Sudbury. J.C. Lemieux on the outside, back to the blue line. Lemieux, 6-on-5 right now for the Wolves. And Brampton will touch up, so it's going to be a Sudbury power play inbound.
Well, Coughlin got Pearl Harbored. Not good at all. Now the referees are talking things over.
Well, it was significant time ago, so which skater is it? I don't think the Brampton skater knows who it is either, but now he's on his way back, and it'll be, I believe, Reed Gee going off to the box. Side note, shout out to Derek, who we were mentioning, is listening to the broadcast tonight. He just gave me a little tidbit. It's Bobby Orr's birthday today, 78th.
Wow, Bobby Orr.
Born March 20th, 1948.
Happy birthday, Bobby. 78. Guy got a 4-minute penalty, by the way. Got the double minor.
Well, there you go. Wolves on a power play. Extended. Sudbury will skate out of their zone. Nemitz, quick up to Lemieux. A little pass to himself between his legs. Back to the blue line. Barahowski couldn't hang on. Forced to come all the way back. Fortunately, Gonchar was there waiting. 9.5 minutes to go in period number 3. Gonchar for Sudbury, breaking loose across the Wolves blue line. He'll get it into the Brampton zone. Barahowski was waiting, dropping it at the blue line. Lemieux trailing the play. J.C. Lemieux cross ice to Hovan. Hovan, number 3 in the OHL, by the way, for power play goals. Hovan's got 16 goals in the power play this season. J.C. Lemieux, a shot that is deflected wide. Wolves pick up the loose puck, though. Lots of time to work with it on the power play. Under 9 minutes now, and the man advantage. Lemieux couldn't get a shot off. Dropping it back to Gonchar at the blue line. Gonchar cross ice to Lemieux. Shot comes deflected. Nemitz standing right there. Had the rebound, but it went right off of the blade of his skate.
Yeah, he couldn't corral that rebound, and great chance there.
Good looking power play for Sudbury. Not able to cash in that time with 8.5 to go in period number 3. Wolves dumping the puck into the Brampton zone. Coughlin on the forecheck. As power play skaters will change up a little bit for the Wolves. Coughlin around the boards. Provorov had to hustle to keep the puck in. However, Brampton finding the loose puck, and it goes the distance. It's going to slow right down behind the Sudbury net. Bronis will hand it off to Hudson Martin. Martin forward pass to Provorov. Provorov for Sudbury, galloping his way into the Brampton zone. Opportunity for the Wolves on the power play. Braden Bennett takes it to center, now into the outside Chitteroni. Back to the blue line, Martin. Cross ice to Chitteroni. Wrister comes, deflected off of a shin pad. Puck stays in play. Looked like it was heading for the mesh, but no. Off the boards it goes at the blue line. Martin, 7:40 left in period number 3. Good looking power play for the Wolves. However, a giveaway for Chitteroni. And so D'Amiglio will skate it to center and then dump it into the Sudbury zone. Good kills so far right now for the Brampton Steelheads. A minute and a half to go in this extended power play. Reed Gee in the box. Artem Gonchar moving it forward. Barahowski for Sudbury. Off to the outside is Jan Hovan. Back to the blue line. Adam Nemitz will join the fun. Nemitz to Hovan. Back to the blue line. Gonchar. Gonchar waits, gets a wrister off, deflected in front, and a glove save made by Zach Bowen. And there was a brief rebound. Barahowski took a swing at it, but in a good save, somehow Bowen had eyes on it.
Well, Bowen's had a harder night than Baronis. He's made some difficult saves, and again, 18 shots. Both teams not exactly tearing the house down and getting all kinds of offense going, but Bowen, good saves and corralling that puck. Coop, by the way, it's still 2-2. We have 7 minutes left. Are we headed to overtime here, or do you want to stay here all night long?
Or is that the announcer jinx? Who knows? See what happens. Or are you trying to do the announcer jinx?
Well, you know what? I don't mind a little bit of overtime. Can we make up for that overtime from the Olympic gold medal game?
Well, face off inside the Brampton zone, won by Sudbury. They're set up still on the power play. Hovan back to the blue line. Gonchar. Gonchar cross ice to Lemieux. To Gonchar. Gonchar at the center along the blue line. Back to Hovan. Hovan forward pass to Nemitz. Nemitz looking for Gonchar. To Lemieux on the outside. Lemieux pass. Fanned on it. Got his own rebound. Back to Nemitz inside the blue line. Nemitz cross ice to Gonchar. Gonchar on the outside. Lemieux passes out in front. Nemitz couldn't get a shot off and still has the loose puck. Power play has 30 seconds left. Gonchar shot at the blue line. Blocker save made by the goaltender Bowen. Wolves have the loose puck again. At the blue line, Gonchar. Gonchar to Lemieux. Lemieux out in front is Sudbury. Backhand shot. Rebound picked up by Barahowski into the corner. J.C. Lemieux will barely keep the puck inside. He's taken down and pass to himself. Along the boards to Barahowski. Barahowski going to be hit hard by Nyman. Wolves still on it. At the blue line, Gonchar. Lemieux, a shot high and look out. Field goal way wide. Wolves still on it. Lemieux, another shot. It comes. That one also wide. Wolves still have the puck. Back to the blue line. Gonchar. Fans are calling for shots. Wolves are getting the shots, but they're not on the net. Gonchar, he'll shoot. That one hits his own man in front. Barahowski. Rebound picked up by the penalized skater Gee. We're back to even strength. And the Brampton Steelheads kill that one off.
Yes, hitting the net is crucial for the Sudbury Wolves to get some offense going. Lemieux with a couple of shots just way wide.
5.5 left in period number 3, tied up at 2. That was a glorious opportunity for Sudbury. Good looking power play. Shots not on the net, and one occasion actually hitting their own man by accident as well. Brampton back into the Sudbury zone. To the net it goes. Pad save made by Baronis, and he's going to hang on. Baronis has not seen a whole lot of action in the last couple of minutes, so you had to be careful with that one.
18-17 shots on goal in favor of the Wolves. So again, some close calls, but the Wolves couldn't put it past Bowen. Let's check out and see what's happening with our scoreboard out of town in the OHL for tonight. Here we are. Third period, 5 minutes left. London leading Windsor by a score of 2-1. Kitchener 2-2 with Sarnia. North Bay with 4:54 left, trailing Brantford 5-4. Oshawa leading Ottawa by a score of 3-2. Pete's on top of Kingston 3-2 with 7 minutes to go. 12-6, Sarnia or Owen Sound 3. And the Sioux Greyhounds leading Saginaw, 7 minutes left by a score of 5-1.
5:16 remaining. Regulation tied up at 2s between Brampton and Sudbury. Face off inside the Sudbury zone. Blake Clayton to take the draw for Sudbury. Face to face with Julian DeMiglio. Draw won by the Wolves, and Henderson burst of speed into the Brampton zone. He can really turn those Jets on. Gets a shot off from the outside. Easy glove save for the goaltender Bowen. Now a face-off will be inside the Brampton zone.
Okay, who's going to strike first and take the lead here in the third period? It's been one of those games. Wolves led 1-0.
You want to make a prediction? Make this kind of fun? It is the last regular season home game. Who's going to score the next goal?
Sudbury's going to pull it out.
Well, you got to pick a player. Pick a Sudbury player, pick a Steelheads player.
Okay, I'll go I'll go Henderson.
Okay.
Just because I like him.
Okay.
I've always liked him as a player. And for Steelheads, okay. Can't go Nyman.
Well, you could. I mean, he scored in the first period. Why not?
That's too easy. How about Stankoven?
Stankoven. All right. Sounds good. Well, play continues. Puck is inside the Brampton zone right now. 4:40 remaining in period number 3 as the Wolves and Steelheads are tied up. Gavin Yules again playing in his final regular season home game in his Ontario Hockey League career. Getting the puck deep inside the Brampton zone. Steelheads, though, are on it. They'll get it to center ice. Patton getting around Henderson. Shot comes. Easy routine save for the goaltender Bjorn Bronis. As for me, I know you made your picks. You said Henderson for Sudbury, Stankoven for Brampton. I think for Sudbury, I'm going to go with a guy like J.C. Lemieux. He's been all over the place tonight.
That was a real arm twister.
It was. I was secretly hoping you wouldn't pick Lemieux. So
that's okay.
I'm glad. And I'm going to go. I'm going to go Eggleton. Eggleton for the Steelheads.
Okay.
Just for fun. I mean, why not, right? Have some fun. Play continues.
It's a hand pass. You can't do that in the offensive zone or the neutral zone.
So another face-off will be the result.
But you can do it in your defensive zone.
There you go.
See, I paid attention during the referee initiation class.
Oh, there you go. That's why I'm glad you're here. One of many reasons, Rick. You clear up my confusion. Face-off is going to be at center ice. Your guy, Stankoven, who you picked to score, wins the draw for Brampton. Wrapped around the Sudbury net it goes. Odell's hit hard. Puts it back against Ula. Ula off the boards for Sudbury. Has certainly had his fair share of heavy, thunderous hits on all ends of the ice. Actually took a young skater out of the game back in the second period. Never saw Bulcha back.
He was shaken up.
And I believe that was his debut with the Brampton Steelheads, a call-up for the game tonight.
Well, Coop, when you're on one knee, and the thing is, he didn't, has no wherewithal whatsoever.
Yeah. So
he was shaken up.
Hope all the best for that young kid. Face-off just outside of the Sudbury zone. Draw is won by the Wolves. Gonchar pulls it back to Yules. Yules quick up to Lemieux, who will deflect it further into the Brampton zone. Around the Brampton net it goes. Steelheads forward motion at center. Big collision between Gonchar and DeMiglio. J.C. Lemieux for Sudbury. Can't clear the zone for the Wolves. Now an opportunity for Green of Brampton, taking it around the Sudbury net. Off the boards to the blue line, kept in by Nyman. Nyman, forward pass, and then it's found by Gavin Yules of Sudbury. 3 and change to go in regulation between Sudbury and Brampton. What a battle it's been this season between these two clubs. Sudbury 3-2, winning 3 of the games against this club this season. Now a shot and a big rebound save for Bronis inside the Sudbury zone. The whole bench standing after not 1 but 2 nice saves made. Steelheads right back into the Sudbury zone. Nyman a shot and an easy glove save made by the goaltender again, Bronis. Probably his best saves of the night right there.
Well, that's what I'm talking about in terms of getting that key goaltending in a playoff round, because you need someone to stand on their head literally, and Bronis to keep this game tied at 2. Vaska again doing his thing when he gets a chance to play Brantford. So someone's got to be able to be the guy. I'm not talking about good. I'm not talking about average goaltending, but above average game-winning goaltending.
Those are those key saves. 2.5 to go in period number 3. 2-on-2 rush developing as the Wolves skated into the Brampton zone. Coughlin forward pass looking for Barahowski. And then it's the goaltender Bowen hanging on. And now we got some pushing and shoving behind the Brampton net between Barahowski and Matthew Goyette. And referees step in right away. Just a few extra shots, couple light right hooks to say it's been nice seeing you a whole bunch of times this season. And that's about it for that.
And some of these guys are probably friends in the off season, but once you put a stick in their hands,
yep,
all bets are off.
Face off inside the Brampton zone. Chase Coughlin to take the draw for Sudbury. To his side, Chitteroni and Barahowski. However, winning the draw is the Steelheads. 2 minutes, 25 seconds to go in regulation, tied up at 2s. Brampton lobbing it into the Sudbury zone. Around the Sudbury net, picked up by the Steelheads at the blue line. A wrister coming purposely wide. And then Hudson Martin working his man into the corner boards. It's a good battle between Martin and Stankoven. I've been so impressed by Hudson Martin all season long. One of those unsung heroes on the blue line for the Wolves. Wolves, speaking of which, inside the Brampton zone. Coughlin back to the blue line, picked up by Gens Ula. Around the Brampton net it goes. Chase Coughlin picking it up. Shot off the outside of the net. Barahowski will chase it to the far corner, eventually putting it back to the blue line. Wolves are still on it. Good pressure. Barahowski cross ice to Odell as shot comes, deflected high into the glass. Puck will remain in play. Wolves, another shot from the outside. Blocker save made by Bowen. Coughlin hit in front of the Brampton net again. Good battles happening all night long between these two clubs. Good pressure now inside the Brampton zone for Sudbury. Steelheads will find the loose puck, and out they're going to come, led by Reed Gee. Center ice, Steelheads need a line change, approaching our final minute of play in regulation. Anderson turning his horses on as he gallops away into the Brampton zone. Shot comes for Sudbury's Blake Clayton into the mesh and out of play. It is unreal when Henderson is fresh off of the bench. His reservoirs are full. That burst of speed, other teams just don't know what to do often. When he is flying, it is intimidating.
Now do you believe me why I picked him? He's got that burst of speed, that energy, and the thing is, he's the type of guy who can make things happen.
Couldn't happen. Final minute of play in regulation as we are tied up at 2.
I mean, you like to refer to him as speedy. I just take his ability, you know.
Speedy Henderson.
One of the big assets that the Wolves have, number 77.
Face off inside the Brampton zone. Won by the Steelheads. They'll get it to center ice, and that's about it. Ewells for Sudbury, lobbing it right to the side of the Brampton net. 45 seconds to go in regulation. Will we see overtime? We will find out in the next 40 seconds. Around the Brampton net it goes. Ardaugh is there. He's hit by Clayton, but he lobs the puck to center ice again. Gonchar back to Ewells. Ewells quick up to Nemitz. Nemitz to Henderson. Off the boards and a steal for the Steelheads as they'll get the puck into the Wolves' end. 20 seconds left on the clock. And speaking of Henderson, he goes flying out of the Sudbury zone across center, all the way into the Brampton territory as well. However, this time he bobbles the puck, and the Steelheads will get it to center ice. Final 10 seconds left on the clock. Jan Hovan back inside the Sudbury zone. Ewells will slow it down, and then Gonchar will move it to center ice. Maybe one final shot here as he puts it off the boards. And that'll do it for regulation. So some 3-on-3 overtime. Here we go.
I didn't jinx it. I did not jinx it. I mentioned it.
You mentioned it. No jinx.
Yeah.
So we've already made our picks. You're picking Henderson for Sudbury, Stankoven for Brampton. I'm still sticking with Lemieux for Sudbury or Eggleton for the Steelheads.
And the 3-star selection tonight, I don't know who's picking, but I don't know.
So
it's
here's
wide open.
So if one of your players scores, I will get you a coffee because we work in the same building.
Yep. Okay.
Is that good? That's fair?
There we go.
Okay.
And vice versa.
Vice versa. And if neither of our players score, well, we'll shake hands and say, well, that was fun anyways.
We'll do it again the next game.
That's right.
See what happens.
That's right.
Pick the player.
So, interesting to see who the Wolves will put out first. You gotta wonder. You see Jan Hovan doing a couple extra circles.
Okay, so in light of the controversy at the Olympics, are you still a fan of 3-on-3 hockey in overtime, or just not for the Olympic goal?
I think for regular season, it's good. It's just the Olympics or World Juniors. It's a totally different stage. You know what I mean?
So do the regular 5-on-5.
It's a totally different stage.
Okay, that's
I'm
fair.
okay with them not doing the full shootout.
Don't give me, I don't like, it's like soccer shootouts. I don't want to see shootouts determine a winner for a gold medal, but you know what? NHL playoffs will be 5-on-5 in overtime, so we have no worries come playoff time.
Well, your guy Stankoven won the draw for Brampton. He's going to skate it into the Sudbury zone. In overtime, Stankoven got a shot off. Must have been listening to you, Rick. Stankoven still on it inside the Sudbury zone. Around the Sudbury net. Wraparound pad save made by the goaltender, Bronis. Your guy almost got it. He almost got it.
Right from the get-go.
Right from the get-go. Won the face-off. Skated in. Got a backhander off. Got his own rebound. And now the Steelheads will switch up skaters. Out there for Sudbury, Gonchar, Nemitz, and Hovan. 3-on-3 overtime. Who gets the extra point tonight? Face-off won cleanly by Hovan. Gonchar around the Sudbury net. We know the Wolves are in the playoffs. We know the Brampton Steelheads are not. So this does not affect a whole lot in standings. Bragging rights, if you will. Momentum for Sudbury, perhaps. Nemitz inside to the Brampton zone, gets a shot off. Nice pad save for the goaltender, Bowen. Wolves inside Brampton's territory. Gonchar at the blue line. Artem Gonchar. Cross ice pass to Hovan. Hovan creeping his way. Now he goes to the outside. Hovan back to center ice. Nemitz, little fake play to center ice, and then it'll be taken over by Nyman, who did score back in the first period, his third of the season for the Brampton Steelheads. First minute of overtime is officially done. Nyman being watched carefully by Lemieux, who, by the way, I have called and predicted to score tonight. Lemieux's on the ice for Sudbury, as is Hudson Martin and another Hudson Chitteroni for Sudbury.
Okay, move the puck.
Steelheads have just been...
Move the puck!
Steelheads have been stuck behind their own net. Now they finally move it. Fans and Rick Wyman getting restless. J.C. Lemieux on the forecheck for Sudbury. Quick up to Hudson Martin. Good battle for the puck. And look out the other way are the Steelheads. Steelheads inside the Sudbury zone. Pat, nice move. Shot comes. Save made. Rebound is there. And now we got some pushing and shoving in overtime. More of just a group hug between Hudson Martin and Cartwright. Nothing more comes of that, but
I didn't come and do this game with you tonight to see someone play with the puck behind the net. I want to see some action here in overtime.
It's overtime.
Of course, move that puck.
Close call, though, for Brampton. They've had majority of the scoring opportunities so far in overtime. Face-off back inside the Sudbury zone. Stankoven out again for the Wolves.
Back out there again. Let's see what happens.
Henderson and Ula out for the Wolves. Green on the back end for Brampton, as is Kieran Witkowski. Draw one cleanly by the Steelheads. In fact, so clean it comes all the way back into the Brampton zone. Steelheads will slowly move it forward. Now they'll go back. Witkowski cycles it to Stankoven. Stankoven across center, one-on-one, watched by Ula. Stankoven on the outside, toe drag move. Good poke check for Coughlin. Puck will be taken over by Henderson. Henderson moving it forward with Coughlin. Rowan Henderson, shot comes! Rebound was there for Coughlin. Coughlin has it now. Chase Coughlin twisting and turning, blows a tire. So now a 2-on-1 the other way. Brampton inside the Sudbury zone. In front, opportunity shot. Pad save for Bronis. Poke check out in front. The puck is loose. Bodies are flying everywhere. Henderson finds the loose puck. Fans are standing. Sudbury the other direction. Ula joining the rush. And the puck will come inside the Sudbury zone with 2 and a bit to go in overtime. And we believe have an icing call against the Brampton Steelheads. Fans are on their feet having a hoot here tonight at the Sudbury Arena.
That was crazy. The best the best segments of the game just took place on the ice right now. This is why we came to the game tonight.
Face-off inside the Brampton zone. Hovan, Nemitz, and Gonchar. Fans are literally dancing in the stands tonight as they're getting set for a postseason appearance from their Sudbury Wolves. And an ovation for the goaltender tonight, Bjorn Bronis, who just kept this one from being over.
Well, don't forget, Bronis did his thing, and the Wolves had some chances too. So, hey, this is fun.
This is fun hockey. And it's not like there's nothing on the line. Of course there is. So a little break in the action. Looks like a timeout was called because it was an icing call against the Steelheads. Jan Hovan going to stay out for Sudbury with Nemitz and Gonchar. Looks like DeMiglio. Arda for Brampton. And then the guy who scored back in the first period, Nyman. Face-off inside the Brampton zone. 2:11 left in overtime. Wolves win it. Gonchar has it back at center ice. Artem Gonchar moving it around the Sudbury area. Now he goes forward across center into the Brampton zone. Artem Gonchar around the Brampton net. Gonchar still has it. Puck on a string. Gonchar still inside the Brampton zone. Now he hands it off to Nemitz. Nemitz cross ice to Hovan, who misplays the puck. And then a big collision between Gonchar and Nyman. Hovan back inside the Sudbury zone. Up to Nemitz. Nemitz across center. Burst of speed. Nemitz not liking what he sees, so he hands it over to Hovan. Hovan gliding his way into the Brampton zone. 3-on-3 overtime continues. Nemitz out in front trying to cut across, but a good poke check. That time for Keaton Arda. Brampton slows it right down to a dead stop behind their own net again. As Zach Nyman notions to his bench he needs a change. He's going to get booed by the fans at the Sudbury Arena. Final minute of overtime. The Boo-Birds are loud and clear here at the Sudbury Arena, but here come the Steelheads inside the Sudbury zone. Shot from Cartwright on the outside. Good block made by J.C. Lemieux. Cartwright, power move in front of the Sudbury net. Poke check made by the goaltender Bronis. 45 seconds left in overtime. Hudson Martin slows it down now for Sudbury. Martin forward pass to Chitteroni. Chitteroni across the Wolves blue line to J.C. Lemieux into the Brampton zone. Pass out in front. Pad save for the goaltender Bowen, and now it's just a goaltender game. What a save for the Brampton Tendy.
Okay, we're going to go to a shootout.
32 seconds left. What a play. Nice feed from Lemieux in front of the net.
Just too tight to make that play.
But credit to the goaltender. Left pad came down and kept this one tied up at 2s. Boy, oh boy. And I think now the Wolves have taken a timeout. You got the face-off inside the Brampton zone with 32 seconds left. Head coach Scott Barney's got the whiteboard out. Assistant coach Andrew Desjardins standing over as well, offering his words of wisdom. It's been a great game.
No, it hasn't been a great game. This overtime has been great.
I think it's been a great game.
But we've seen, it's just one of those things where it kind of lingered on for a while. You got some shots, but nothing. Now we've seen some really good scoring opportunities. Got to be careful when you use the word great.
I mean, we'll just agree to disagree.
Yeah,
that's
but
okay.
The thing is, this overtime has been by far the best part of the game.
There we go. Face off inside the Brampton zone. Jan Hovan to take the draw for Sudbury. It's won by Brampton. 25 seconds left on the clock now. Steelheads taking it across center ice. Green leading that charge, and it's taken over by J.C. Lemieux. Seeing some space to work with. Lemieux with Nemitz. Lemieux on the outside. Shot comes. Pad save made by the goaltender Bowen. And then look out. Lemieux absolutely leveled inside the Brampton zone.
Good
Final
check.
5 seconds on the clock. Brampton inside Sudbury's territory. Shot to the side. It goes off the boards. Final seconds tick down. Maybe one more scoring opportunity. And no, that is going to be it. after, my goodness, a thunderous
Coop, that
hit.
was a good check.
You just don't see that too often in overtime, but J.C. Lemieux, he gives a little nod that he's good.
No, it's, hey, that's all part of the game. Nothing dirty about that. We've seen a lot worse earlier in this game with some cheap shots.
Well, shots are tied at 24 after overtime is done, so now we head off to a shootout.
Okay, can we top that overtime? Listen, I really like the overtime. I wish we could have overtime. 3-on-3 then. Let's just play a 60-minute 3-on-3.
Can we override it at this point? I mean, it's not affecting the standings at all.
Yeah.
Why not override it tonight? Come on.
Call the commissioner, Mr. Crawford. Yeah, we're just going to play 3-on-3 hockey. The heck with the shootout.
We've decided we're changing the rules here a little bit tonight.
Because we're enjoying it now.
First skater to take a shot will be Daniel Barahowski.
Okay, so do the players that we picked still come into play?
They could, I guess. Now Barahowski, this guy's got a bag full of tricks. Forehand, backhand, he's known to do that one quite a bit. But he's also got a wicked shot, so.
But you don't see guys actually wind up and take wicked shots.
Here he goes, Barahowski, first skater in, winding his way in. Barahowski, forehand, backhand, it's in! There it is. I said it, he's known for the forehand, backhand, and he made absolutely no mistake.
Good call.
Beautiful, beautiful shot from Barahowski. Oh
so
my.
Who do we have here for?
We got McGregor, Richmond. McGregor, Richmond for Brampton. Wolves have scored on their first.
Listen to the Bluebirds.
Richmond one-on-one with Bronis. Richmond waits, takes, and he scores.
Beautiful deke.
He outweighted the goaltender Bronis, and then he equally gives a stare down to the Wolves bench. One scorer on either side. What a move from McGregor. Richmond right after St. Patty's Day.
And Bronis is still looking for his underwear after that goal.
Next, Hudson Shitteroni making his way in slowly. Oh, so slowly. Now he turns it up. Shot comes. Blocker save made by Zach Bowen. Tried to maybe fool him with the quick shot.
Yeah, it was one of those situations where he came down, hit the parallel to the face-off dot, and just moved in quickly, so okay.
Julian D'Amiglio for the Brampton Steelheads, looking to take the lead in the shootout. D'Amiglio waits, gets a shot off, and it's a save for Bjorn Bronis. He went backhand, forehand, and Bronis, as he was falling backward, made a beautiful save. You know what? I think D'Amiglio actually just missed the net on that one.
Yeah, it looked like he went over.
Next up for Sudbury, Adam Nemitz. He'll take the puck across center. Nemitz for Sudbury, waits, shot, pad save made for Zach Bowen. And now a shot for the Steelheads to win it. If they score here, game over, folks. And to take the shot, Keaton Ardaugh.
We want our guys out there.
Here comes Ardaugh, a chance to seal this one tonight. Ardaugh skating in, waits, takes, and he misses.
How do you miss the net?
Rick,
I'm sorry, it's the end of the regular season. I'm just letting my emotions get the better of me.
You and I are up here, my friend. Chase Coughlin scored back in the first period. Making his way in for Sudbury, waits, shoots, nice glove save made for Zach Bowen.
Well, at least he hit the goalie.
He did hit the goalie. We're getting all the emotions from Rick Wyman tonight. So, again,
Coop, after 60 minutes, we can say and do whatever we want.
Botno, a chance to win it for the Steelheads. He makes his way in. Botno waits, backhand, he misses the net.
Well, he tried to go backhand, and the thing is, you know what? The key, Bronis, he slid over and didn't give him very much room on the pad.
Guess who's up? J.C. Lemieux, shooter number 5 for Sudbury.
Oh, here's your boy.
J.C. Lemieux, see what kind of tricks he's got. He's going to take the slow approach. J.C. Lemieux speeds it up now. Waits. Backhand shot. Nice glove save. Made for Zach Bowen. He tried to go backhand, forehand, backhand as well.
Bowen read that very well.
And you go glove side. And Bowen's glove's been real good tonight.
Where's my boy Sankoven? Is he coming up?
Kieran Witkowski now. A chance to seal the deal for the Brampton Steelheads. Here comes Witkowski. Shoots. Pad save made for Bjorn Brones.
Your wife could have stopped that one.
So we go to shooter number 6 on the night, Jan Hovan.
Does your wife play hockey?
No. Jan Hovan. I'm going to tell you said that, by the way. Jan Hovan making his way in, waits, shoots, and he scores!
There you go.
And he gets some noise from the crowd. He waited, and he just fired that one 5-hole between the pads. Nice goal for Jan Hovan.
It was a nice goal. Just drilled it.
Troy Patton now. If he misses, this game is over. Patton into the Sudbury zone, waits, backhander, hits a save! And this game is over! Sudbury Wolves win a thriller in a shootout.
So if you didn't see the first 60 minutes, that's okay. The 3-on-3 for 5 minutes and the shootout, well worth it. Well worth it. And Hovan does what he does best. He scores.
He does. Rick and I are a little bit bummed that neither of our guys did, but that's okay.
Okay, next game, we'll take 2 guys right from the get-go and see what happens, and those are... But I want to file a grievance. Rowan Henderson and Stankoven from Brampton never got a chance.
So
that was fun, that's all. And you know what? When you pick a player or have something on the line, Coop, 2 guys, it always makes it that much better.
Right, so the Wolves doing a good job of saluting the crowd here at the Sudbury Community Arena. Overtime was wild.
Yeah.
Shootout was equally as wild. We went to 6 skaters, and Bjorn Brones is going to pick up the victory here tonight as he's getting a congratulations from his fellow Tendi, Paulo Frasca.
Okay, quickly in the OHL, London beat Windsor by a score of 3-2. Mark Seidel can't be too happy with that. Kitchener losing out to Sarnia 4-3. Brantford beat North Bay 6-5. Oshawa came from behind to beat Ottawa by a score of 4-3. Kingston lost out to Peterborough by a score of 4-2. It's great news for the Petes in securing 4th place. Guelph 6, Owen Sound 3, and the Sioux Greyhounds beat Saginaw by a score of 5-1. Here, 3-2 in a shootout. Wolves win! Wolves win! There you go.
There you go. That was
Wolves
good.
win.
And you know what? How about the energy now of the Sudbury Community Arena? This is what you want heading into the postseason, right?
Well, we talked about the baseball, about the Latin Americans, and supporting their team. This is fun. This is fun.
So the Wolves will officially wrap up the regular season on Sunday afternoon in North Bay. As we're just getting to your 3-star selection. Looks like Jan Hovan will pick up 3rd star tonight as he scored the shootout winner, and it was a beauty. There was a little fake that he did that got Bowen to guess. Opened up the pads, and he fired it down low between the legs. Jan Hovan picking up 3rd star tonight. Looks like 2nd star is going to be another Wolves skater. Gavin Ewells.
Well, they do the OAs, so Chase Coughlin will be the 1st star.
And I mean, very fitting that Coughlin scored in the first period, right? Chase Coughlin.
When did this tradition of overagers getting star selection start? Is it in
1987? I honestly don't know. I just picked a random number.
I've never really noticed it before, but
I wanted it to sound like I knew what I was talking about.
But you know what? That's a good answer.
There you go. Chase Coughlin, as you said, 1st star tonight. So Chase Coughlin 1st, Gavin Ewells number 2, and then the one who scored the shootout winner, Jan Hovan. Final regular season home game for the Sudbury Wolves as they are getting geared up for a postseason appearance against the Brantford Bulldogs. Bulldogs. Their schedule for the playoffs has been released. It's going to be an exciting time, but a reminder. So, Rick, maybe we can talk real briefly about the game on Sunday against the North Bay Battalion in the Gateway City and the importance of this game between Sudbury and North Bay.
Sudbury and North Bay, yes. As far as the battalion are concerned right now, like, okay, so Pete's win tonight, North Bay loses, so that's a 4-point difference.
Yep.
That clinches Peterborough for getting fourth place and home ice advantage right now. So that was key. So this is a game that North Bay had to win. So what happens, North Bay, Sudbury, grudge match?
Yeah, bragging rights perhaps?
Bragging rights and what have you. Highway 17 supremacy. So again, with the Pete's winning, so North Bay can ice their lower level B team if they want, do whatever. But the thing is, they'll be thinking playoffs. Peterborough, North Bay is going to be a bang-up series.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, okay, maybe London, Sault Ste. Marie, but if that's one series that we should be able to take in at any time, that would be a great one to see. And of course, Sault and London both win. So again, it's going to come down to their last games to determine who gets home ice advantage. So as far as the Wolves are concerned, do you rest? Do you do some load management? Do you rest some players or what have you? And again, it's going to be like tonight's game. Really, not that much on the line except pride.
Yep.
Revenge.
All right.
Guys that you don't like, and the thing is, North Bay and Sudbury don't like each other, so you'll see a few scraps.
Round one is set between Sudbury and Brantford. Game 1, Friday, March 27th. That'll be in Brantford. Game 2 in Brantford. And games 3 and 4, of course, in Sudbury. Mark down March 31st. That's a Tuesday night. And then Thursday, April 2nd on your calendar. Both those games here at the Sudbury Community Arena. If there is a Game 6, it'll be on Monday, April the 6th. All those details can be found on Sudbury Wolves social media. One final time, it is a 3-2 shootout win for the Sudbury Wolves. A wild overtime in particular, and a thrilling shootout victory for Sudbury. One more regular season game to go until the postseason begins. On behalf of Rick Wyman, the amazing crew at the Sudbury Community Arena, I'm Brian Cooper saying thank you so much for tuning in to Wolves Hockey. We'll talk to you again next time.